Good evening, TNT family. We are most fortunate tonight to have our superstar Denise Belfon. And Denise might be known to some of you, but I want Denise to introduce herself and give a little bit about herself because tonight we are promoting TNT, and Denise will be a brand ambassador for TNT for UNC USA, and she's going to help us lead off that and promoting TNT culture and everything belongs to TNT. Denise is going to help us with that as much more so the cultural part of things because that's where she specializes in. So Denise, just give listener audience a little bit about yourself, and then we are going to the discussion.
Sure. I just want to say a pleasant good evening to everyone. And I thank you so much for having me on board this evening. Um, uh, Introduction about who Denise Belfon is. I've been in the music industry from the age of 7, meaning I grew up in a musical household where my mother was a singer, my aunt, well, I should say, was a professional dancer. And then I had another aunt that was, you could say, a DJ. My grandparents, they were, really musically, well, I should say musical lovers also. So it started from that young age. And I have been a soca ambassador for the past 30 years, representing Trinidad and Tobago internationally. I have been one of, if not the first ever soca artist to break barriers internationally with a crossover song, or a song that was dubbed as a crossover in the UK, in Europe, Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, the world. And with that being said, it was done 28 years ago, a song that I had or have called Work, and it was remixed in the pandemic and ended up being on the top 200 charts for TikTok, tying with Jerusalem as number one. Over 2 billion views and streams and videos worldwide. And it's a sad state that when you do something that great, your country don't really rate you or big you up. But how I look at it, it's like they don't rate who or they wouldn't rate you because you are not the person that they want to see winning. That's how it go. That's how the human being is set up the majority of the time. But with that being said, I've done a lot of public speaking for domestic violence survivors, me being one. I've done a lot for the elderly, the homeless, and children that come from domestic violence, families, abuse, and that type of thing. I started in Trinidad, and then when I came here to the United States, I continued. And a few states have recognized me, a few foundations have recognized me and my selfless, timeless efforts to make the world a better place, per se. And I'm very grateful for that. And with that being said, I am here to just make everything better when it comes to the music, the entertainment, the sport, every and anything that was an influence in my life growing up as a child to now that I've seen fall off the map for Trinidad and Tobago. I will be more than happy to be a big part of bringing that back in the curriculum. And, you know, and by the way, another thing that a lot of people don't know is that I have qualifications in or to teach first grade and second grade students. And when I say teach, I mean every subject: math, English, social studies, science, everything. So, and that's something that the world is now knowing that I'm here on this panel this evening. Very proud.
I am also very proud of you, sister, and a lot of us are. Um,
Thank you.
I want to encourage my panel to jump in anytime they feel that they would need to say something. Fallon, Suman, Singh. So Denise,
Yes,
this is what I'm trying to break the back of the unappreciation, the unengagement of our citizens outside the country. As
right.
much I have discovered, as much as hard they have tried, I mean, their help is so much critical and very much needed that because they have expanded in their whatever skills they left Trinidad, they have
Yes,
expanded here outside, whether it's the medical professional or whatever it is that they do, and it could help our economy tremendously. So I
yes,
am looking to push very hard to bring us together here in overseas, regardless of what country you're in, and you're listening to this, I am looking to bring you on board and to kind of create that channel so that our citizens outside the country can participate in driving our economy and helping to improve the level of service delivery. Even if you're a former police officer, and you wish to make a contribution, which I ran into some of the old boys over here from Brooklyn,
right.
and they were frustrated and they wanted to help, and they were being shut down. No interest from TTPS and whatever it is. So we have a
Yes,
prime minister here now that we have gotten that we really want. And she gave the order boots on the ground, and she's speaking and thinking the way I do and what I wanted to see. And so I can relate to that, and that's why I support her. She has a heart for the people. We just got
yes.
rid of a heartless government, and we're going to go more into that further down the road. But I'm just saying we just got rid of a heartless government. So I want to thank you for accommodating me in being our UNC USA brand ambassador in leading this, and that you could engage people up in New York and stuff like tell them what we're trying to do, bring people on the program. I want
Yes.
to bring recognition to the skills of our people outside the country and to encourage them to participate in
I, 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 I really, I
representing
really,
TNT.
I really commend the initiative because for years we as citizens have complained that we would get manifestos or get promises and nothing ever comes to fruition in the way that we would have liked, right? But now, with the new government and this initiative that you are presenting to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago around the world, I see it as an opportunity for us as citizens around the world giving back to our country to help build it back. So, whatever ideas and things that you might have experienced as a police officer, nurse, doctor, surgeon, teacher, musician, athlete, whatever it is, you have a voice. That's how I look at it. That we are given a voice now to express and help put things in place to make our country better. Did I say it correctly? Because that's how I feel it.
Definitely, definitely. And you know what really caused me to connect with you? I see you have the heart for it, and this is what I think our prime minister looking for, and this is what we saw. She had the heart for the people, and that is what brought everybody together in the country, regardless
Correct.
of race, religion, height, size, color. With it was shock and awe with this election across the
Yes.
country with the unity of our people, and I'm enjoying seeing this unity, and I could see how our people is feeling liberated. They're feeling like they could
Yes.
breathe. It's like the knee off their neck, like we are seeing in this country.
Yes.
And I am feeling so good just watching
It's
my
like a
people.
breath of fresh air. It's like just like
Yeah,
a relief. A relief.
watching my people feeling that freedom, and
Yes.
we have a prime minister who's interested in what we have to say. She's very much interested.
And
She,
that's what made me love her. Because she's not just somebody in power. She's someone in power that's willing to listen. A true boss or true leader is someone that gives the people on the ground or who is around them the opportunity to be heard and make provisions and movements together as a team. So the leader and everyone that is behind them can really feel like they are part of team.
Well said.
That's how
Well
I
said.
see it.
Well said, Denise. And I feel the same way. After the election, I don't know if you got the feeling, but I am feeling very light, like something has lifted off your shoulder. I,
Yes,
I see hope. I see unity in the country, and I see hope, and that is all that matters.
correct.
Instead of the other side is more arrogance. You feel being left out of the process. You had no say in anything. But just getting back to what you said about the manifesto, they didn't have a manifesto this time. They had
Right.
what's called manifestos.
Okay.
So each ministry had a manifesto. I contributed to 5 different ministries in comments and so on, and she was very happy that I did. In fact, she sent me back a personal email to thank me.
Very
Right.
nice.
Not besides that, I went to school with her in Superior. I'm a South boy, Price bad boy, so
Okay.
we went to Ivy High School together and so on. I did the laptop project, as I told you the last time. I did when I worked at the Ministry of Education before I went to Tobago to work in the ministry there as the ICT director.
Right.
But the thing is that you see hope happening, and if it continues this way, you might be tempted. I might be tempted. In fact, I'm very tempted to go back and help in whatever way I can help. So,
Well, let me tell you, I can't wait to help.
And
Oh, go
I
ahead,
would like to
Fallon.
jump in here.
Go ahead, please,
So,
Fallon, please.
no, I was just thinking about culture and giving persons the opportunity to shine. If you would have looked at the UNC's rally, they started it off by giving gospel singers a stage. They started it off with gospel singers. Some of them are upcoming, some of them are not well known. And I felt like that was a great move to show the culture and to show our diversity. If you would have looked at the UNC's it was their rally where they rolled out all of their candidates. That would have been a center of excellence. You would have seen that they had a cultural show, I would say, where they had the Indian dancers and then they had the African dancers. They had the Congo drums and they had the Tassa drums. And I thought it was a beautiful display of our culture. And I had not seen that before when it comes to the political arena. And it really excited me. And I feel as though, our honorable Prime Minister, she was able to help bring that unity in. I always say that, I've been saying recently that we are now really the united National Congress because now every creed and race has found an equal
Great,
place.
exactly.
So I was even your way that our prime minister, she did her rallies, she gave, she paid attention to culture, and I love that. And
Yes.
to Denise, yes, well, I am actually a preacher, so I often come with biblical quotation, but it is
Right.
so sad that the Bible says that a prophet is not a prophet in his
In his
own
own,
hometown,
exactly.
Hold on,
and
Exactly.
that
hold on,
is so.
hold on.
When you were talking to me just now about um being involved with NGOs of philanthropic work pertaining to women who were abused, children who would have come from abused homes. Persons in Trinidad does not know that about Denise.
Correct.
Everybody know her for being, saucy. Everybody
Yes, the
know her,
wine a girl.
the woman
Yes.
who can real wine and
Yes.
throw waste, as we say in Trinidad. But, you really warm my heart when you spoke about the other work that you do. And I'm happy that you have taken your name and put it into those areas, because those are areas that also need to be addressed. So, it's a big thank you as a Trinidadian. I am saying it's a big thank you. And I hope that that work could also, be done in Trinidad. Because I believe you're doing it here. You said it started off in Trinidad, but that can continue, especially in this time where there is change. Finally, there is change happening in our country. And we
Exactly,
hope
in
that
a
that is
positive way.
in a positive way. So I hope
One
that
second,
that
please.
change.
1 second,
mhm.
guys.
Yeah, so
So now
Fallon,
I
keep
do hope that
talking.
that change we can bring in. So that's my contribution.
Yeah, well, deeply. Hey, listen, I deeply appreciate your contribution. You see, the thing about it is, between 2010 and 2015, things have changed up here so much in the with the consulate here in New York, and there was a multicultural, in several multicultural event. In fact, right for the last 10 years, the performance and entertainment and any kind of event at the consulate went dead. There's none functional as soon as Mrs. Bisesa went. So not only that, we the services for your passport at the consulate, everything was expanded, everything was being done at a faster pace, and it
Right.
was real shame to see people bought into Dr. Rowley nonsense and allowed him to take government. Now, I hope the citizens remember the abuse from the PNM for the rest of their life and never allow the PNM to see government for the rest of our history, because there's too much of biasness, and they have suffocated our people with all sorts of discrimination,
Oh, yeah.
and UNC has always been a multicultural, multiracial organization. Even with Basti Pandey, a lot of people, the PNM kind of projected this Hindu and Indian thing and thing, but Basti
Yes.
Pandey was a universal guy, and we all grew up in Trinidad. So I used to get really upset when people pull this racial thing, and I used to say for Carnival, all the winding up and dancing, and then when it comes to making a decision for the right thing to the country, all you bring in this nonsense. I mean, that is
Correct.
Well,
the politics,
the
and
song
that,
says, how we
yeah,
vote is not how we party.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
True,
and,
But
true.
and that's the
there's a
mindset.
realization. Go ahead, Fallon. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just mentioning that how
Yeah,
we
yeah,
vote is not
yeah,
how we party. There's
yeah,
risk. But honestly, I have to say that this time around, persons did not focus so much on, no, but have the people who focus on race. But I
Right.
personally witnessed persons ignore race this time around, and persons looked at the country, persons looked at that we needed change.
That's very true.
How we had our highest GDP during the last UNC administration when they were in power between 2010 to 2015. And just to see that go down almost to the dogs is shocking to me. So, persons started to look at other things other than race. And me, I'm a preacher. Someone had an argument with me during the Easter holidays that as a preacher, and this is what the person said, how could you be campaigning and voting for a Hindu party? And I said, what are you talking about? I am part of that party, am I not? And I am not Hindu. And I wonder if persons looks at the swearing in of of the MPs, of the ministers. Many persons use the Constitution. Some persons use the Bhagavad Gita, and a lot of persons use the Bible. So even in cabinet, there is that diversity in cabinet. So this whole thing about the Hindu or the Indian government and stuff like that. That is something we of the past, and it's a mentality that I know that the millennials and the Gen Zs, they are no longer looking at race, and I'm happy about that. I'm a millennial, so I am happy that we no longer just look at race. We look at the economy. We look at what's happening with jobs and the young people in the country. So and we even look at culture. I know that I am up from Aruka Lopino, and we wanted to bring back um um old mass in Aruka. Not only old mass, but children mass in Aruka as it used to be years and years ago. So that's another way of even promoting our own culture. So persons within our community, we don't have to go to Port of Spain or we don't have to go to Arima, wherever, but we can have these things within our community. So, and I believe I'm going to see that with this new administration. Culture,
Yeah,
I know we are going to see better this time around.
I
excellent, Fallon.
believe
I'm
that
very
too.
proud of you.
Yeah, and
I believe that.
well said, Miss Fallon. The cutting across racial lines has a lot to do with the newer generation of voters, in my view, the millennials and the Gen Z and even
Yes,
the AB, which is what we have now, the AB generation. They are not seeing things that their parents or grandparents used to see things because they seem to be more directly connected, and anyone who is going to offer them opportunities for jobs, training, to upgrade their life or skill set and so on, they're going to definitely be on that side
yes,
instead of being on the side which their parents and grandparents were on, and they only succumbed to talk and talk and talk, but no action. Could you imagine if they had gone back into the PNM, that is, had gone back into government and they decided to take away the old age pension or reduce
Mhm.
it, increase water rates, all the electricity rates? I was so happy to see today that they say there's not going to be any water rates increase or electricity rates increase. They're telling the public that upfront. There's not going to be no property tax. Those who have paid will get back their refund. In fact, the previous government was so lapsed, they didn't know where they put that money. It's all scattered all over the place. You know.
You know what's
So
amazing today is that Barry was at the Whitehall
yes.
Prime Minister office there, and the place is dilapidated and run down. That
Hmm.
the new Prime Minister cannot move in there, so there has to be a complete re-renovation, restructure the staff. They had our people so suppressed and abused that they were afraid to talk. But now you're getting to find out, and I'm hoping that Barry brings pictures and everything and show us and show the public the
Is
damages and destruction with all the money allocated to the Prime Minister, the 50 million allocated to the Prime Minister office this in his recent few months here, right? And no renovation done. Allocated for what? What, to fight the election? Dr. Ray
travel.
only gave himself 47% raise, right? While he suffered the rest of the country. And now they're trying to put this negativity that, oh, Kamala can't keep she promise. You see, she says she could do this and do that, and now she changes. She might, first of all, she have to go in the treasury and see what we have. She have to go
Bro,
and see what's available. And this is how important this brand ambassadorship is. Very much
yes.
with engaging our population outside the country to help drive the economy of TNT. And you making TNT a safer place for your relatives back there. And when you want to visit, that you know that you could go down there. You have a medical emergency, you need a response from the police, the level of service is upgraded, customer service upgraded. You go try to do some business with the government, whether it's getting your passport or whatever legal business,
Yes.
there is a smooth transition, there's an ease of doing business. So we want to
I,
bring all our citizens on board for this kind of project here.
Gary,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go on.
Gary, good night, everyone. Dr.
Good
Parum,
night.
Welcome, Dr. Parum. No, Dr. Parum is situated in Venezuela right now. So, it's a
yes,
real international audience
I
here.
met him on Tuesday night. Yes, I remember
yes.
him.
Gary, you're saying something that I really don't like. Mr. Rowling is not a doctor. He don't have PhD, and he's not a medical officer. Please don't call him doctor, please.
A doctor of dotishness and arrogance.
Yeah, yeah. But don't spoil
Guys,
the title, please. All right. What
listen, if we need some geology, we may have to call him. If a volcano erupts,
No,
we may have
no,
to
no, no,
call
no.
him.
Don't call him at all.
The name
No,
can't
no,
handle
no.
that. He have rocks in the brains.
Right. Here's what now. You see, when you have natural resources like water, electricity is a need, a human need, an invention by Tesla, right? And water, that is something that you don't play with, and you don't. Here in Venezuela, nobody pays for water because it is a right to the citizens. The oil and gas that we exploit here, that automatically pays for the access to water. Water is something by law that everyone has to have. Everyone, every creed and race. The pension. No, this is a real enslaved and nasty way that this previous government have. How can you come and take away a pension from a person that who is a citizen? Being a citizen of a country, automatically you deserve and you have by law or international law your pension. When you complete your age and your service to the country, right? So if I work all my life in the country and then you're telling me I cannot have a pension, what is that? That is slavery, that is nastiness. So they take away the money from the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, which is rightfully belongs to them by rights, by nationality rights. You understand? So they don't really care about the citizens. Now, when Rowley was talking, I'll call him Rowley, no, because he made a statement on the newspaper that Pandey is dead. I didn't like that at all. It was not no respect for Mr. Basdeo Pandey. No, when you start to interfere with the rights of the people, you are damaging the nation. Now he come out day before yesterday and speaking about $15 billion and $15 billion and $14 billion and $6 billion. Where is that he's leaving there? Where is the rest of the billions of dollars that from the 10 years that he have? He never say anything about it. He never say anything about it. You understand? Now that our beloved Prime Minister came in, Miss Kamala, now he talking about money, how much billions we have. So you see, it's hypocrisy with this government. Hypocritas, right? I know I just say it in Spanish. No, it's hypocrisy in English, right? Right? Yeah. And so he's trying to play saint, and this saint thing he already discovered himself. Now he say retiring. You retire and go away because you already had enough, right? So our new government is a government of freedom, a free government. He who is free the rest of others. He who is a slave, enslave the others, right? Now the culture of child abuse, that was an old culture, child abuse, women abuse, no respect. Now we will see now that will have to stop too. In these modern days, I know cases that where children are being abused by their father or stepfather very strongly, that new program will be starting to avoid all these things and take severe measures. Am I right, no?
Yes, and also mental health. She touched on a whole meeting she had on
Yes.
mental health.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true.
You see, the mental health is very important. Now, when I went to Trinidad and I came from Venezuela in a very, very bad condition. No, I came back to say, look, I will work and serve and give the technology that I have, that I have learned to the country. You know what this man told me? That I am UNC and I do not belong here. I cannot give any technology here that I have. That is not, we are a second-class country. You don't know nothing. Man, the depression that I got was very severe. I was to come back immediately to Venezuela, right? I try my best. I study so hard in Trinidad before with the PNM government, you cannot study. You cannot. You could not do it. You understand? It's only a group of people who have access to education, and they give a few others, but they don't graduate it, right? So these people really not only to help the local people with mental health. These people who enslave the country need mental health treatment too severely. You know? Am I right?
Definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
We have to organize ourselves. The ministers and them, probably like you say, we all know it will take a little time for them to get settled in government, and we all have to be reasonable. with understanding that they would need a little time um,
Yes, yes,
to get organized. I know a lot of us. Listen, there are people so desperate and so damaged for help, and they're very anxious. And some of them like cannot really wait, and we have to understand that. And the understanding also is that the government need a little time to get organized there and see where we at. So the prime minister did say we want to see where the finances at. We have Dave Tanku there as Minister of Finance, which I'm very proud. Vandana Mohit as Minister of the People. We have our Dr. Chaitan with her also as permanent secretary, or not secretary. I forget how they use the word there. Falan, can you remind us what uh,
yeah.
the position that she got
So,
there?
yeah, so
Welcome.
Dr. Natalie Saxon, she is senator and she is a secretary. She's senator and secretary to parliament. She's a minister
Parliamentary secretary. I
in
couldn't remember the word here. Parliamentary
parliament.
secretary.
Yes, and
Yeah,
she's a
yeah.
minister within the Ministry of the People and Social Development.
Right. So I mean, we
She's
Yeah.
have two
as
caring people there.
yes,
Um,
she's
you know,
assistant Mohit, Vandana
right.
Mohit. Yeah,
Yes, so
Um,
she's working with Bandana. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so welcome Fazia. This is our nurse here who's working with Outer Toronto. So Fallon, if you see Fazia here, this is our nurse here. She's a senior nurse working in Canada. I'm sorry, Newfoundland now, Fazia.
Yes, I'm in the East Coast right now.
Yeah, I wish I had you on last night when Dr. Ramrup was here. We were talking. Well, I'm gonna bring you back when we talking about the EMT
disaster
program
preparedness.
and the medical response and stuff like that. So I
Hmm.
want to try to arrange with you again to come back on. So right now we're trying to promote um, TNT culture, economy, whatever resource TNT have, and engage our citizens across the globe to come on board in helping to drive TNT's economy. Whatever contribution, I want to encourage them that they don't need somebody to appoint them. You seek your country's interests, and promoting your culture, your food resources, things like that. Whatever you can do, your skill, don't hesitate to step up because we have faced a long history of government suppressing uh, the intentions and of our citizens across the world when they want to make back a contribution, back to the country. I mean, I had teachers who tried to make a contribution to help upgrade the country. I mean, you're like yourself,
And they
Fazia,
were
you try to
shut
make a
down.
contribution for the nursing medical field, different things like that. So we're going to bring everything for the population to see. We're going to expose everything, and they will realize how much they have lost out and what we are trying to do and make sure PNM does not return because they will be destroying their own benefits and future of their children and their own country by bringing back this oppressive government. And we're going to expose them. I'm going to do everything on my side as soon as I get that information and to bring it forward to the
Yeah.
people can understand. I mean, look, like I was saying before, Barry went to the prime minister office and the condition is horrible. The Prime Minister office. $50 million allocated to the Prime Minister office, and you don't see anything done. So I'm waiting for to see what report Barry's going to
No,
come with. You know,
Gary, that 50 million was for entertainment purposes, my dear.
yeah, yeah. Not
Not
I
for
hate to see.
building, not for building or constructing anything or to upgrade any office or anything. That was just his entertainment allowance.
I mean,
Well,
so go ahead.
no, I just say, wow,
Yeah. So
entertainment.
yeah, feel free to jump in, anybody. Okay. I mean, we have our country came to a place. Even the police in some situation didn't have people to write. They didn't have amenities there. And I mean, it's so much of a dilapidated state that I can see, and I'm encouraging and inviting anyone who would like to come on board with us and share what's been happening in the country to let us know. I know a lot of people are still scared because of repercussions and they're getting victimized there. So with that, go ahead, Suman, if you have anything to add with Denise and
Yeah,
Fazia.
I
I Sorry, go ahead.
I think the number one area they should start addressing soon or very soon is crime, and follow that with health as a second option. They can do both concurrently because we have about 380 doctors unemployed in the island right now. And we could start to put some of them back to work, generating employment and so on as well. Plus, you're creating services. You know, Mrs. Bissessers was talking about visits to the elderly at home visits.
Yeah, Dr.
And
Rambo raised that thing also. So that would be jobs. I mean, home
Yeah,
care.
I
we,
spoke about that on Tuesday night too.
Yeah,
and not
instead of
only
putting
job,
people in a old age home or senior citizen home, they can remain in their home and get the health care that they need and still be among their family. You
and
know.
all the primary schools and secondary schools as well to have doctors stationed there along with nurses to identify any sort of learning disabilities in children. Like, you know, sometimes the child cannot see from the back of the class and everybody making fun, oh, you're done, see this and that. And, you know, the social implications of those things. So that's a nice initiative. We have about 300 to 400 primary schools. We can absorb most of the doctors in that area and let them identify
Okay.
like eyesight problems, obesity problems, learning disability problems, and so on.
Do
I have
you
You
a
think?
see,
question. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry,
okay,
Hannah.
you see
Even
the geriatric care at home is an excellent service because why? Why I say I manage a lot of geriatric care at homes because it reduced the impact, the psychological impact that where the person has to leave his family to be taken care of, you know. So when you have geriatric visits, you can monitor the patient or the patient adequately. Adequately is the word, no?
Yes,
Yes.
Help me with
adequately.
my
Yeah,
English.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
adequately, and you have feeding program for these people. Or say what is the things I saw in Trinidad that there is not a good nutrition way of or
That
plan nutrition plan for the geriatric patient. They just give him a piece of roti and something, and that's it. No, that the geriatric patient has to be taken care of, exclusive and very special. No, now the school appointment of a medical doctor and a nurse is excellent. Is very excellent. He not only to work in the school, or he's in charge of the area, wrong the area as well,
Yes.
because everyone will know. I have confidence there's a doctor and a nurse right there. Anything happen, I can go first there, and then after you have the ambulance service to make transport to the hospital. But the first aid or first ajuda, help. Ajuda is a help, you know. The first help you can get there is the doctor immediately there, right? So children will feel much more safer. Parents will feel much more safer that having a doctor and a nurse in their schools. You understand? As you say, also the security as well is very important. No, so those are two things that are very necessary. Now, the geriatric care past the few years, Trinidad is supposed to be a country that has a very high and excellent geriatric care. It does not have geriatric care. It does not. It does not. You
I
see,
don't
old
know.
people goes into homes, and it is very expensive as well. And none of them, the majority of them, are not funded by the government. And if it's funded by the government, it has lack of a lot of things, right? So you are showing now this present government will take care of its senior citizens, and that is very needed. All of us will be there. All of us will
How
be there
how
someday.
how are we dealing with it though? What all the things we're saying is great. I know it's fairly new because this is a new government and everything that we're talking about is what we would like to see. But when we take the initiative and we get everything passed and everything is good and whatnot, How do we know that these people are competent enough for us to feel safe as citizens, as people who have elderly, as people who have children attending schools? Because I could say I'm a nurse, and when the child come to my office, I'm like, "You're coughing, child? Look at Panadol, or look some Tylenol juice to drink, or whatever the case is." And that's it.
Well, you know
Everything
what?
has to have
Our
level.
government has will need some time to put a strategy in place, and
Right.
we are sharing these ideas up front, so that it's that they know that this is the way we thinking. But I want to give Fatih a chance because I know her time zone is different than us, and she might have to leave us sooner. So, Fatih, if you would like to say something, I'd like you to jump in now.
Thank you, Gary. I just had a couple of points on what Dr. Maraj was talking about. He had mentioned talking about, we have, and also Mrs. Singh was saying we had many unemployed physicians in the country, and a good way to make use of them, whether they're juniors or not, is to deploy them to the underserved areas in the country, first of all. Like those
Mhm.
faraway villages and traces where they don't see a doctor for a long time, would have to travel by taxi for hours to get to a town to see a physician, or maybe they don't have the resources to get a taxi to get there. Deploys these physicians, a group of healthcare workers with them to see these people, and provide care in the home. That would be one type of preventative care, right? So to de-escalate, any chronic illnesses or disease that may actually get worse. Second thing, that would be a form of also proactive care. So taking care of people before they actually become ill and end up being in a hospital where they have a higher burden on the healthcare system in terms of financial as well, right? So there's many different points in terms of using physicians in this for this model, to help in the general public. Um, I think one thing that we don't really think of is the public awareness of how the burden of disease affects the population. And
Correct.
I'm talking about chronic illnesses, which is big in Trinidad. Like for a tiny island in Trinidad, we have one of the highest diabetes rates in the world.
Mhm.
We are the highest in the Caribbean. And I know this because when I did my master's in public health system management 5 years ago, I came back to Trinidad to do my master's thesis on diabetes, bush medicine, and conventional medicine. And through my research, I found this out. And it was a big eye opener for me because a lot of people in the country believe wholly on bush medicine. They do not trust the CPAP medicine. They do not trust the ones they get from the health centers. They think it's just like sugar candies they give them. They don't believe in it, so they revert to, bush medicine, which sometimes it does work. Yes, other times, it can have adverse effects as well. So I think a lot of teaching has to be driven publicly, has to be driven, in the media, through schools, through healthcare centers to get the public aware of how devastating, chronic illnesses can affect the entire population, especially with an aging population. So that's a lot of work to be, to be rolled out, a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing, a lot of cooperation from different stakeholders, from people on the ground to the schools, to the health centers. And you have to educate them. So there's so many different levels that is involved in using up the resources we have efficiently to get the effect that we want. But that will take time as well too.
Well, this is why it's important that we lay out our suggestions and let them know what resources they have outside the country, and that our ideas and suggestions so they could put it into play. And we will follow up from outside here. We will follow up and see how it's going on. And if we see something that we think needs to be addressed, we will address it. Definitely I intend to address it and to bring it to the attention of our government. We are here to support our government, to share the ideas and to make sure they succeed. And people like Isabel Fazia and Dr. Parum, who is very well skilled in the health sector, which is very much needed. We had a Dr. Rambo for 2 nights here, and I mean, seeing how much he could have done to help our health sector in Trinidad, and to know that they rejected accepting the help. It's clearly, our population must understand, our people whether they're inside or outside the country, must know what's happening in the country, what has happened in the past, and why we doing what we're doing. We didn't change government because we didn't like Dr. Rowley. It's the level of performance, it's the attitude, the arrogance, the lack of concern of our citizens, mistreating our people. Uh, we
Dictator way.
I
we
didn't
will
like
not
him, by the way.
we will not. I mean, we will not tolerate that. And I have to, reiterate my congratulations to our people in the way that they came out. And I mean, they really lashed out.
Yeah.
I am very proud of that. So, Pastor, you want to add anything else?
No, no, not particularly, no.
Anybody else? Feel free to jump in on what you would like
I
to add, please.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight something that Fazia was saying. Um, the big issue with lifestyle diseases that Trinidad faces, I feel as though nobody really addresses addresses it. You know, our we always look at places like the US and say, obesity is on a rise there, but we hardly ever look at the
Why?
how high, and that in Trinidad, diabetes, hypertension. I mean, I actually know at least 5 persons who are on dialysis. And this all comes down to lifestyle diseases, because of our health, because of our lack of exercise. And I love that she spoke about people using bush medicine instead of, the medicine provided by CDAP. She said
No,
CPAP.
sorry.
I was laughing.
No, I thought you meant is CPAP brand. So
Oh,
I don't
I
know.
will
Well,
say
you
something.
might as well call it
yeah.
CPAP and be and
Yeah.
go ahead, Fallon. Go ahead.
I mean, because they usually don't have half of the medication anyway.
No, they
But
don't.
one
They
thing,
don't. And what they do is have very poor quality drugs. People
very
are
poor,
giving
very,
it
very
to.
poor. It's
Very.
like
Yeah.
the worst of the worst generic medications. And one thing though that I'm really passionate about, and which is mental health. And the same way we need to drive people away from going to bush medicine, the same way that we need to begin to make mental health stop being taboo in Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly.
Persons, they could be affected by even just depression or anxiety, and they are afraid to say, I'm struggling mentally, I'm suffering from mental health illness, because the first thing people will say is that, you're crazy, or you're mad, or you need a bush bath. I mean, I've heard those
Oh,
things
yeah,
before.
jumpy, you
You
want
need
to
a
take a cookie broom and beat you.
Yes, yeah,
But not
yeah.
understanding it's a chemical imbalance.
Exactly. They don't understand the medical side of it. And even within the church, they will say, okay, well, you have a spirit on you, and we need to pray on you. While the person just probably needs some antidepressants,
Yes.
and probably need to look at their lifestyle also, because we know that things like exercise, when it comes to depression, it works almost to the same level of antidepressants. So one thing I think that we need in Trinidad to bring us up a notch is to help to bring mental health
Information and
from stop
education.
being taboo. Exactly. And we need to inform people. And a lot of people are going out there undiagnosed and self-medicating with marijuana, with alcohol, and with other illicit, with illegal drugs. So we know that there is a need to have mental health at the top, because persons are suffering and persons don't want to speak about it because they don't want to be, we don't want somebody to say that they're
Labeled.
crazy or they're
They don't want
mad.
to be labeled. Yes.
Exactly.
My 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 not
They don't want the
not
stigma.
not cutting here, but my take on it too. It starts from the agriculture where food is concerned, where when you are able to purchase the right foods, fruits, vegetables, whatever is necessary for your diet to be, at bay and the way that it's supposed to go. Everything really starts from the agriculture. In my book, it starts from there. Then it goes down to the family. Then from the family, to the school children, then the elderly and school children together, and everybody needs to be working hand in hand to make sure that whatever is supposed to be eaten, firstly, you need to have the right amount of money to be able to buy the right things to eat. That is one of the main problems. You want to live healthy, you want to do the right thing, but you don't have the money to go and get the right things to survive. And that is a big, big, big problem.
The other thing
The
as well,
information. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the other thing as well, I have noticed that a lot of Trinidadian does not have the knowledge on how to eat, what to eat, right? Most of them,
Correct.
there's a patient came from Trinidad. They sent him home to die on Mount Hope with heart problems. They say we can't do anything more for you. So he contacted me from Trinidad. I said, well, come over here. In 3 months, his heart was working on 15%. It went up. We're using stem cells and proper diet to 80% in 3 months,
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So when he went back to Trinidad now, he started to eat the roti and eat sugar juice and things like that. And he went
Yeah.
back down
Oh
again.
Lord.
Right.
So I
Mm-hmm.
say, man, the way you are eating is the way you are damaging yourself. He had was to
Yep.
come back again. I say, man, you're giving me plenty work, man.
Oh, food is
I put him on,
medicine, right?
yes,
Food
I
is
put him on a
medicine.
Yes.
diet, a
Yes.
proper diet, and he went back up. I did stem cells on him again. And with the second shot of stem cells, he went up to 95% of function in the heart, right? And with the diet is very important. He loses weight. He even goes to a gym here, right? So now he's in how you call this place where the king and queen is, England. He's in England now, enjoying himself. So he learned now how to eat and to drink. Now so nice. The doubles are so nice, very nice. That's culture of us, but we have to try to change that culture, right?
Yes.
How we eat. That's the problem.
Yep.
We
See,
need
Well,
to
you know, too much of
we need to
anything is
develop
not
a
good, right?
national food guide, as we have like
Correct.
Indian food guide. We
But
should have a national food guide for TNT,
but
which
even when we get the guide, we can't stick with it because we can't afford to get it what is on the guide.
no, but the
That
thing
is
is,
the honest truth for the
if we
average
introduce that
man.
food guide, from the school in the school system,
The
and you
curriculum,
Yeah,
yes.
are
you have
doing
to
it,
start it
learning it, you
early,
would
Yes.
early,
get
Cindy.
used to. You would look for the foods because if you know it from small, you would learn to live with it. And then
Yes.
these
Correct.
kids pass it on to their parents at home when they go, "Oh, mommy, we should be eating
And
this, not that." Right?
that
And
goes
then they
on
teach
here
you.
in
That's how
our
that's
household.
how it
Yes.
spreads, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
and
I
I
just made a
actually,
note of that. I said stricter measures to be implemented from the school system
yes.
That's where it
Mm.
feeding
starts.
programs
But
because
you know,
the
And
we can
children
also do
teach
this.
us how they want to eat too
We
Hmm.
could
when
also
they
do this
learn
on,
the
a,
right
on
thing.
an adult education program, like an after-school program where parents can attend. You encourage that
Right.
that community learning, like we have it here at Denise. But one of the things I discovered here, while I was having some dealings with a pharmaceutical company here, and one of the guys was from one of those European countries, and what he was telling me is when they make the drug for the Caribbean and India, depends versus the drug that they export to the US is a different grade of drug. We get a
Okay.
Yes.
lower quality drug.
Yeah.
The
100%.
yes,
it's watered
that's
down.
known.
He said that
Mm-hmm.
the blood pressure medicine can cause your body to gather water, and that's why you
Correct.
see a lot of people swelling and their heart and their
Mm-hmm.
lungs
Edema.
swelling. So there's a lot of things that the doctors you don't get they give you a Panadol for everything, right? Basically, we know that, right? And the doctor, I mean, your legs swelling and it's accumulating fluid, and they don't study to drain it. They give you a tablet, right? They don't put a drain in the leg and drain all the unnecessary fluid. That fluid expands in your body, goes up to your heart and the lungs and kill you, right? So I mean, I recently had a situation like where one of my relatives died like that. So when I
You
And
saw
see,
it, I said
Okay.
that like has to be
you see,
drained.
you see, there is a lack of knowledge in medication. Now, the medication that I saw in Trinidad and Tobago, even the vitamins, is not of good quality.
Not good.
No, not good
Exactly.
quality. And there are drugs there are medication that is needed in the country, and it is not allowed to be imported into the country, right? Why? Well, if you want the medication, there's this pharmacist that has it, and you have to. It has a monopoly. Like, am I correct? The word monopoly.
That's correct. Yes, a monopoly. Yes.
Yes, and only one man can bring it in. Now,
Yes.
the quality of medication. Now, what I know is every country has its different disease and has its medication is specific. For example, in Germany, antibiotics will work well. In Germany, what is on the environment, but the same antibiotic you bring from Germany to Trinidad or to Venezuela, it can kill you or do not work.
Correct.
But it's the same antibiotic, right? All medications are designed for the specific race or type of persons in the country. There's studies for that.
Yes.
Now, there are antibiotics. There are antibiotics that can be used in Caribbean weather, and there are antibiotics that cannot be used in Caribbean weather. For example, in places like Germany, Russia, Canada, the antibiotics work for cold places. But you bring that same antibiotic here, it can damage you or don't work at all, right? So the quality of medication for Trinidad is very bad. They ask for a certain amount of medication, and with this monopoly people, to reduce cost, but they sell it for you as if it is high quality. It is happening. If you want, this is not allegation. It is happening. Look at the pharmacies in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Also, there is a violation of the biological law in medication. Why? You go to a pharmacy here in Venezuela or in the US, they don't sell you tablets in a bag. No, that is not permitted.
Yeah.
You break the seal of a bottle of medication, that is violation of.
Poor reception.
I think his internet freeze, but
I
also
just get cut off.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But Dr. Parum and Fazia, our body are chemically designed differently.
Yes.
Even in the same country, one medicine might work for somebody,
Correct. Correct.
and
100%.
with the other person, it would not work
Yeah.
with the
Correct.
same effect, and it could have an adverse effect on that. And
Mhm.
our pharmacy here keeps track. So when you go to fill a prescription, they compare the reaction, the adverse reaction with what you on, and if you can take that medicine. You know, a lot of things. This is not done in Trinidad. So
But Gary, this is what
we don't have a system to hold anybody accountable, so they
There's
can
no
prescribe and do anything to
accountability
you,
in
and
any part
nobody
of
to hold them
Trinidad.
accountable.
Correct.
Yeah,
This is
and
where the AI is
And,
important.
that is exactly what I was going to say, Doc. The AI is so, 2 years ago, there was about 74-75% accurate in determining what type of medication you as a patient should take. And now it has gone up to, in less than 2 years, it has gone up to 94% accuracy. In Mount Sinai here in Miami Beach, what they do, they're using the AI as a first line of treatment. In other words, the AI is diagnosing the problem. Whatever the medication or procedures you have to do with the doctor does that. And the AI is prescribing the medication for each person differently, so that everybody reacts to different medications in their own way. So there's not a one-stop shop for all. It's a
become very
process.
individualized, very specialized now.
Much more individualized, so that if you have stents and so on in the arteries, they may tell you that, you know what? Oh, something went wrong.
We're hearing you.
Okay, yes. So they say at the end, the AI recommendation is that, oh, your heart is getting weaker. Let's give you Entresto instead of your normal Valsartan. as the case may be.
Mm.
So they have upgraded the same thing for stroke patients and so on. The head of neurology was telling me the same thing. He said all these MRIs and so on have been read by AI, and it's so accurate now that he's just countersigning it, which before it used to take him to sometime half of a night to read all his patients' MRI. Now the AI does it when he comes in the morning. In 15, 20 minutes, he has seen the reports, the diagnosis, the treatment, the medication, everything on his desk. So this is how the AI is helping
That's a
tremendously.
long way for us to come on board. But even along those same lines, we're talking about the quality of drugs that's been exported to third world countries like Trinidad, like ours.
No, that's what
Even the food.
I was
Even
going
the
to
food.
get. I was going to get that. It's not exported to Trinidad. What happened is in Trinidad is that you have to bid. It's a bidding process,
Mm.
and they buy the cheapest drug on the available on the
Yeah,
market.
so we import the
Because you have
cheapest
to
drugs. We
tender.
import the cheapest
You
drugs.
have to tender.
Yeah.
Importers have to tender,
Mhm.
and the importers are so few. It's a select few. Gary knows them very well, who they are, the cartel. And I refer to them as a cartel. They
Yeah.
tender. I
The
want 10,
pharmaceutical cartel.
yeah, I want 10,000 of this hypertension drug. Can you tell me, whoever is the cheapest supplier with the very least amount of real medication in the drug, that's where they buy it from.
There's
So that
got to
they
be
profit.
some sort of standardization when it comes to treatment and medications because people's health at risk here.
Yep.
So there has to be some kind of standardization
To
that
the
has to meet
cartel,
international standards.
money is the thing, not the patient care,
No, of
not the
course, yeah.
outcome of the patient. Is
Correct.
how much
How do we
money
get rid of the
they can.
cartel?
It's
Ah,
very easy. Very easy that. Put honest people on board
Yeah.
and are not businessmen. Right? Here in Venezuela, we had businessmen and thieves. We get rid of them drastically. And then we put honest people who does not care about money, but care about the patients. Now,
Exactly.
there's a big difference. I always say a client is different from a patient is different from a client. When you look at a citizen as a patient, you have a different vision. When you look at patient as a client, you have a next vision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is very, very easy to do. Now these
Different.
people look at something, no? Trinidad, I bought coffee that came from Trinidad. Man, that coffee is so exported out of Trinidad. If you look at the coffee inside, it is shiny. Have a nice bag. I have a 3 bag open inside, and then you have a next cloth bag, and then a next bag, and man, very pretty. But you get that coffee in Trinidad, and they say no, that is to export to the United States. But you're giving the Trinidadian people what type of coffee? I don't want to say the word, right? But you're starting to give high quality, the best quality to outsiders than the people inside the country. That is what is going on too. So
But
Otherwise, they wouldn't
we
buy
have
it.
a history,
to
a
get things,
cultural history like that.
well,
but
that
to
is
get things correctly, you have to put people who does not look or is not looking for business. That is the whole problem. That is the whole figure and empire of the PNM government. All of them were businessmen. That's all. So this government will reduce the businessman thing and care about the people more. Right? That's the
Yep.
way we can deal with that. And
that,
seriously, a
that's the
nice jail.
We'll have to
government.
upgrade the police, the
Yes.
management of the police force. We have to upgrade the justice system. There's quite a bit of
Would upgrade everything,
Yeah,
Gary.
there's a
uh,
whole
Would upgrade everything.
overhaul that needs to take place.
and the structure. See, the thing about everybody could do what they want and nobody's to hold them accountable, right? And they could buy off
Correct.
somebody and a witness could disappear and
Mm-hmm.
the evidence could
Mm-hmm.
disappear from the police station. and
Yeah.
all these. This is the system we're dealing with. But when we fix that,
Mhm.
that's which is going to take some work. It's not going to be easy,
So it's gonna
right?
take
And
a
we're
long
going to have our
time.
hurdles. We're going to have our challenges. But
Gary, uh,
Yeah.
and everything is broken in Trinidad. Let me just
Yeah,
tell
it
you
is.
that
It's true.
Yep,
every
everything.
single thing, whether it's education, the policing, the
Everything.
healthcare, you go
Yeah.
to immigration, you got to go get a birth paper, a birth certificate. Imagine in Tobago, you have to come to Trinidad to get a death certificate. Why?
No, that's madness.
Total madness.
That's
No.
madness.
And I was writing about that today to the chief secretary.
That's
By the
madness.
way,
run
everything is
around and
broken.
bribery to get everything you want done.
And I've been telling you since day one to fix this thing. I'm a systems person. Every single ministry has to be what's called systems oriented.
System.
Workflow from point A to point B to point
Yes.
C to point D to the outcomes.
And everything should have a clocking system.
That's
Yep.
right. So
Yep.
that
Clocking
you can
system.
see where the problem is, where the bottlenecking, where is the
Mm-hmm.
people screwing up.
Correct.
This is what you're going to see with a system like that.
Yep.
Then you have to
You
have
see,
the
the other thing is,
policy.
That's
You have to
one
have,
form of accountability.
you have to have
Yes.
you have to
you,
have
you,
the policy in place. Then you have to have the legislation in place. So when these guys screw up, you can punish them. This is the thing.
Correct.
You have to identify what the
You
problem
know,
is, who is messing up, and let them face the brunt of the
No
law.
more throwing stones and hiding hands at all.
Because you can
Everybody have to be
identify them.
accountable.
You can identify them.
Yeah.
you see, the
I think
thing is, we have,
the boss lady sent that message very clear from day one,
yeah.
and that is the objective. Um, but we have to really put that structure in place. We have to build out that structure, and how we build it out is the advice that we would have to get. Not everybody knows everything. And being a minister has so much to do, he cannot think of everything. So this is where people like us comes in to make recommendations. As time goes by, and we bring all the experts here on board with us to lend advice and make the recommendation. And there has to be, you see, they got away with everything. They could do you what they want. That was it, and nobody holds them accountable.
Yeah.
And this is what we have to fix. We have to fix that management administrative structure. And long as we get that, I mean, it's going to take a few months for this government to sort out what's taking place, the financial situation. How are we going to pay for the doctors and nurses in the school? We have to know how much money we have. Then we have all of us has a role to play, whether it's the investigative part or driving the economy, whether we inside or outside the country. If we want to see Trinidad and Tobago succeed, we all must engage. We must all get involved in whatever contribution you can make. And if Denise could sing a
Fact.
song to help our economy, then please, Denise, sing that song.
you see,
No
we have to
problem
do
at
the things
all.
you see, we have to do the things in a way that they don't encourage or give positive plus for the PNM to come back. We have to do everything as planned, right? One of the planning is and to get the things done, try to decrease the inflation that the PMM government has caused, right? The inflation is what is destroying the country by bad management. I'll tell you why. When you close down that refinery in Trinidad, there, what happened? The gasoline, I remember when I was a child, they used to pay $10 to fill the tank of gas, right? Now it's almost $300 and $400 to fill the tank, right? TT, I'm talking about, no? Right? Now, when they buy gasoline or gas, I say gasoline, gas from Venezuela. The Venezuela sells them to it, and they sell it double to the public, to the nation of Trinidad. So they have less work, less maintenance, but they buy and they make almost the double of the money that they get, right? So that justifies that everything goes up, justifies an inflation. Now, if we can get back up our plants started up to have our refinery working very well, the gas have to go down. Therefore, you can say reduce the inflation, improve the country's needs for the people, and therefore you don't have leakage, right? So what I'm saying is the health system will be much more better. You move out more better because you have no more. You don't have to have a high cost in fuel. You can put that money to somewhere else, right? So if they make investigation, the person who is buying gasoline from Venezuela, what will happen with him? He just gonna go away, go free like that, or you put him in jail?
Do the right thing.
Huh?
Do the right thing. If the
Put
right thing
everybody
is
in
to put
jail,
them in, exactly. If that is the right thing, that is the
right?
right thing.
So we get some billions of dollars missing here now. So some billions of dollars here missing now, and what happened? What happened with him? He just go out and he don't come back. No man, he had to go to jail, give account to
Yep.
everything,
He should spend some time in jail for that.
right?
Definitely.
Look at Singapore.
Yeah.
If we don't put a hard hand on these people, it will continue.
Correct.
Even though
100%.
when we put away some good few of them in jail, not even persons who are infiltrated in the UNC. Well, don't doubt me that there is no spying in the UNC to sabotage to the government. You know, believe there that everybody is honest there. You know, don't believe that. You know, right?
Absolutely,
Well,
There were
you're right.
well, we
people.
saw that. We saw that where a lot of people tried to derail our prime minister
Yes, we
from
saw
taking
it
over,
during
They will
and the
try
job
to
on the other
manipulate and
side.
sabotage. You understand?
Right.
So you
So this is
put
why we
them
have to
in
come
jail
on board.
one time, brother. One time.
Yeah.
You understand? And you will see, no, I don't want to go in jail. What I don't agree to take away the pension and take away the retirement. No. I don't agree with that. Put them in jail. You see a good few of them see, no, I going to jail and life jail 20 years, 15 years. I ain't doing that. Right? The next thing is that the PNM government has not raised the salary, but they raised the inflation on the people, but they didn't raise the salary. They did not adjust the salary according to the economy or expense on the people, right? They prefer to kill agriculture in Trinidad. They go buy goods outside the country, come back and sell. So they get their piece on it. So they get the share on business. Everything for them is business. Nothing is honestly in the country. Nothing was honest in the country. Everything is a wrong business. So let's try our best, senores.
Yeah, but that is the same cartel, you know, Gary.
Let's try.
I say it's the same cartel operating there. The same one who controls the medication is the same one who controls the imports in agriculture produce. Is the same one that controls chemicals and coming into the island. Is the same one who controlling the foodstuffs and everything else. So it is in their interest. Hey, you know what, guys? Don't grow tomato down there. We will bring it in. And when they bring it in, just see the prices of the tomatoes in the supermarkets.
Crazy.
You know,
You got to provide incentives, for these farmers to start producing.
No, they prefer not to. It is in their interest for the government not to do that, so that they can make their money.
Kamala has to change that somehow, somewhere. I don't know how. Because we
That
can't.
is very easy as well.
We can't survive on imports. We have to produce our own. We have to be able
Correct.
We have a fight.
to some degree.
Yeah, that is very easy as well. We had that project here in Venezuela, but yet men came in and took advantage of the project. What you used to do here? You have land, yes. All right. How much you need? How much you need to let's say red bean, to plant a red bean, 100 acres of red bean. Okay, so and so. I give you all the fertilizants, I give you everything, and that is how we manage to grow our own foodstuff by subsidizing the government. The government came, pay you, and take everything there that is what is there. That is not you're going to wait for until the crop finish. No, before 1 month before harvest, you get paid. And the government itself coming and checking the quality and harvesting everything. So you
Right.
cannot come and say, oh, all the crops drop or was destroyed. No, this is the way that we now food here, and we are
That makes sense.
self-reliable because
Yes.
of that project. Now there are people who as well took the money and run away. You understand? That's the next thing. So these smart men, what happened to them? They get catch up. Sooner or later, they get catch up. Seize their property, seize everything, and for the government to get back their money. That if we in place that system, I'm not saying a dictator system, no, but a serious system like how
Yes.
you take money from the bank, you want to pay, well, you get the bank come and take your house. If you have children, if you have this, they don't care. No?
Tighter rules and laws. Yes.
Yes. So
Agree.
you getting your business going up, you're getting your land furniture up, everything. But look at the price today in fertilizers and chemicals for gardening. It's very, very expensive. Very expensive. So how can you say a local farmer as well can produce? He
They
cannot
have to
produce because the cost is so high. And if you look at the PNM government, the PNM government give permission to bring in certain animals into the country, right? Now, they bring in, for example, they say come by river Catibara. Catibara cannot travel so far. Somebody bring it in, they let it get in. They bring in anaconda in the country. They bring in a certain type of bees that will do damage to other local bees. You understand? You cannot do that, right? They bring in some a type of tiger to kill pests, like a wild cat. That you cannot bring in there. Instead, he tried to kill a pest. He killing all the chicken. He killing everything that he seen in his way. So there is sabotage in every way you can see. And the man who really want to plant, you're stifling him. You're killing him.
Yep.
Right. So we have to focus ourselves on getting the best quality fertilizer or chemicals that we need for the use of agriculture, right? And to help the farmers, we have to boost the increase of agriculture. You increase agriculture, nobody are going to suffer for food. Increase that, and the people will have the way to eat. We have the nutritionists, and we have the mental health. That will improve the country. People will feel better.
Yep.
One of the things I didn't admire and I was totally against is the police would go and take the roadside vendor goods and throw it away.
Yeah, that was
And,
very poor taste.
and
Very poor taste.
instead of the
And
mayor of
that
the
food was
city or
wasted, yeah.
Yeah.
providing
That was sinful.
an alternate location and try to this arrogance, just take their goods and throw it away.
Yeah, that was
I mean, the
sinful.
police has a salary, so where you want this person to go and thief?
Mhm.
What choice you leaving now? I'm trying to make an honest living. You take up my stuff and throw away. It costs me
Yeah.
money to get that stuff, right? So I could have borrowed the money from somebody to make a start, and you destroyed my revenue stream
Yeah.
here. Now I can't pay the person who I owe the money, and I can't get this money back. And now
See,
somebody might want to kill me.
this is PNM mentality,
Yeah.
slash and burn, slash and burn. They have no care, no manners, no training, nothing good. Slash and burn. Right? They have poor training. They don't have the education to speak to people properly, first of all, to begin with.
Absolutely.
And they
And
also
yet
need a
you
lot
saw
of training.
people
They
holding
need a
on to
lot of
this
training
and
in
people
customer
fighting for
service.
this. And we had some of our own people went over there and support them because they disagree with Kamala and they didn't get what they want. But I'm happy they left, so we know that we did not between among us. I'm happy those people who left us left. They did us a favor.
Yep.
But you're watching the priorities leading up to this election. knowing how critical it is for us to take government, knowing why we're trying to take government, and you're trying to derail us, I cannot forgive that. I cannot forgive and forget that at all. You know.
You
But
see, there are people have.
women,
You see, there are people that have a mentality. Once I go, I don't care about the rest of them. The rest
so
of people. That
that's
I
the 1%. That's the
that,
1% of people there, right?
yeah,
Not
that is
They
the
don't care.
PNM mentality.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the prime minister, say he thought that everything was under control by crime. He thought that everything was. He thought that everything was crime was under control. You mad or what?
That's the ostrich in the head in the sand.
Yeah. No, no. So
I
we
missed that
we
one.
have to give
I didn't get to see that one. I missed that one.
our this Mr. Rowley said he thought that
Yeah.
crime was under control in Trinidad and Tobago. Man, where
Yeah.
you living, boy? Where you living?
In
Yeah,
the
You
I missed
sand.
that
understand?
statement
His
with
head
him.
in the
I
sand.
missed that statement with him.
Yeah,
We don't want to excuse.
right. So these people, they don't go out on the road. They don't go. When they get sick, they don't even go to a hospital or anywhere in Trinidad. They go abroad, right? Because they know for in fact that they will not be or will not have good quality health,
They
right?
wouldn't survive if they went to a local hospital.
They would not survive. But
Yes.
I spent
Their
15
lives are
million,
risked
I
more than other
spent 2
people.
billion, I spent 50 million in the hospital and it could. They always look at the past videos and them and you always will see. Now,
Yeah, the central block they recently built, trying to have big celebration to open it, and they have no beds, no nothing in it, just the first floor.
no, the fifth floor. The shell, only a shell.
Yeah,
So
only a shell. That's something. Whatever
there
floor,
were,
the ground floor was to open.
yeah. So the person who will take you up in the elevator, you cannot access any floor other than the first or the fifth floor.
well, that is how you say the corruption is. They cover up everything. They show you photo, and video, and that's it. Everything. Oh, they open everything. 50 million. That's all. And with the rest, you understand? So we have to get rid of these people, man. And I am not agree that you say no. They just investigate and do nothing. No, go to jail. You have to go to jail.
Well, I see some things there where they're saying an article by Ken Ali about
Yeah,
1.5 billion was borrowed uh,
last
right
month.
after the election was called,
Yes, what was that about?
and
Just
they're trying
before
to deny its
elections.
existence. You have no right to borrow money after the election is called, as far as I know. And it's a lot of questionable things that they're saying. It's not so. And these people are shameless and totally bold-faced. So let's give our government a chance. We have the right man spearheading this, Mr. Dave Tanku, and he was anxiously waiting to deal with this for the past couple of years, and we will give him all the support as best as we can, and that he can do his forensic investigation on how the money was spent. We had a trail, a lot of spending. The 2.6 billion that the Auditor General brought to our attention that they could not account for. There's a lot to be accounted for, and they want to know where we're going to get the money. We're going to plug the leaks. We're going to try to plug the leaks, and we should try to get back those money that was allocated to their friends and family for whatever reason,
Their
taxpayers'
account should be
money.
seized until
Yeah,
investigations are done.
yeah,
Because we know the money didn't go in anybody's pocket but theirs.
yeah, yeah. And they didn't care. Like
Yeah.
the doctor, the prime minister made statements like "who dead" and all these kind of things. I mean, I personally experienced how they treat our citizens by being locked out of the country. And lying and the heartlessness and refusing to take any suggestion from any one of us. So, Mr. Suman, do you have anything you want to add at this point?
Not at this time. Again, I think we covered the basics, but let's see. The settling time, I see nothing less than 3 to 6 months for the new ministers in the ministries to really get a handle on what the ministry does. But again, it comes down to they have to reintroduce or introduce new systems and policies and do legislation and so on to make these things effective. Because if they do not, it's like the same old, same old. The system is going to be the same thing again if they do not reintroduce or introduce new systems in place. And
Who are the people that create those things? Who are the people that create those
that is
structures?
an inherited structure since time immemorial. They have been just following, like, you go to a warden's office or something like that. Yeah,
Yes.
you got to write out the shit. It must be written out, and they give you a copy. These things in the age of
Outdated, man.
digitization,
Outdated, yeah.
So it can't be changed?
Everything, you know
it
what
has
needs
to
to
be
be,
changed by
yeah.
legislation.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why systems, policies, and legislation have to go hand in hand to
Okay.
effect the change. So
Okay.
that I can
Even, yeah.
stay
Even
home
if,
and renew my driver's permit. I can stay home and renew
yes,
my,
Correct.
whatever I have to renew, my
Everything.
I can
ID
stay home
card.
and open a bank account. In Trinidad, you have to go to the bank with your whole life story
Correct.
to open an
What
account.
school? What
You can
school
do
your
it
mother
on your phone,
attended?
on your laptop, right?
What
Even
your
a simple
father
thing,
ate yesterday? Yeah.
yeah.
Everything.
Even a simple thing like coming into the country, you have to fill out this declaration form, a piece of paper printed. What ancient what is this? You should have a
Not
little
only that,
kiosk where you can punch in your
especially
this and
coming into the
done.
country, they treat you like you shouldn't come there. Some of us,
Yeah.
it's like
Yes,
they hate us for leaving the country to try to better ourselves. It's like we did something wrong to them. We didn't turn our
absolutely.
back on
Yeah,
TNT. Some of us came out here to try to advance ourselves, and most of us are trying to make a contribution back. And it's like we stepping on people's toes by trying to
Yeah.
help our country to be a better place for our family. We left TNT, but we have relatives there. Most of our relatives are in TNT. So we must be
Exactly.
concerned. And not all of us once. I myself will go back to TNT if they would have fixed things the right way, things would function. But
I would too,
do I want to
actually.
risk taking my kids
Me
and
too.
family there at this point? No way.
I would.
You
If
see, the
things were
banking system as
better.
well is very. You all spoke about the bank, mentioned the banking system just now, no?
Yes.
I see the banking system in Trinidad is very, very backward. Here in
Very.
Venezuela,
Corrupted,
we,
more than
we
backward, corrupted, and no ease of doing
well,
business.
yes. We have here in Venezuela where you can pay with your fingerprint, right? You pay with the
Wow.
fingerprint. And you go to any supermarket, any business place, and you pay with the fingerprint. You don't have to work with card or cash money or anything like that, right? That's
Wow.
one. What impact that was created there? Nobody can steal your card. Nobody can swipe a machine and close your card and take your money. That
Correct.
reduced crime rates are very high in a very high way, right? That's one. And the fingerprinting system, for you to have that, you have to register your fingerprint. Now, any
Digitized.
crime that is committed, they just lift up your fingerprint and that's it for you. They'll locate you anywhere you are, they identify you
It's in
and
a
they locate
database.
you,
Yeah,
right?
very good.
Yep.
So why we have this system, and Trinidad and Tobago government, the former government did not implemented that, right? Because there is no convenience. It's not convenient for them. Now you register, you're born, you have your fingerprints, all your prints from birth, have everything there. Crime
correct.
is so easy to eliminate with that system, right?
Correct.
Remember, a criminal will always have a mistake, will always commit a mistake. Forgive me, my English is I'm speaking in Spanish sometime in my head, no? Will always commit a mistake one place and that's it for him. They will locate him wherever, right? So this system has to be implemented not only for comfort and security, for comfort in the bank system, but comfort as well. Because look, went in Trinidad, my bank account was missing money. And missing money. But I didn't take out money from there. Well, you spend it. I didn't know. I don't know anything about it. So they stole from me, from my account, the bank, and now the bank want to know where you getting that money from. They want to seize your money, your own money that you work for. They're questioning you a lot. Here they don't do that. You understand? That is also a way of stealing your money from this, or stealing the citizen money, because they have to give account for the money. If not, the bank sees it. So what is that for?
I've heard banks taking people some money from their account before in Trinidad. Yeah.
Yep.
They did that to me.
That's rotten.
They took away $150,000 from me, and I still cannot get it back. It just have almost 2 years now. Where you get that money from? Right?
No, simple thing as the license plate, uploading it into the system for digital recognition.
Yeah.
10 years in government, what did they do?
They only care to give you a ticket. That's all.
And the police, they bought some kind of dinosaur-looking instruments there for speed radar detection. They think it's so ancient, but there's corruption in the bargaining process, right? And the procurement legislation, the procurement legislator had a problem with them there. What they call it, the general, for that. Besides the auditor general, had some issues with them. So I mean, we got so much work to do.
Yep.
So much work to do.
One of the things that I would like to be fixed in a big way is when you call the bank or any ministry or any police station, maybe not the police station so much. Could always have somebody that will answer the call. But I would really love to hear on the other end of the phone call someone that is competent, that knows what they're doing. I would really love for that to fix. And you see this thing
is the
about,
hardest thing to
like,
get through.
it's a siesta. Every day is a siesta. From the time you clock in your work and you call in to get some information, you can't get nobody on the phone until the place closes off for the rest of the day. What is
Denise,
that?
you're asking a very difficult question.
Oh my goodness.
You're asking the most difficult question.
Everybody's a big boy there. Everybody's a big boy there.
Yeah, you cannot get a hold of anybody, any ministry after 2 o'clock, because they already leave to go home after 2 o'clock.
You're giving them too much time. After 11, you can't get anybody. And I'm not exaggerating. Today,
it's a lazy lineman mentality. You go
Mr. Jairaj Singh. You guys might know Mr. Jairaj Singh from Hotline Pepper Radio back in the day.
Hi. Good evening to your panel, Gary, and good evening to all the viewers. I think it might be safe for me to say good day, depending on the time of the day.
Well, no, it's 11 o'clock here, so I need to be good night. I need to be.
And it's 9:46 here in New York City.
Okay, all right.
Close to midnight.
So we will bring back Fazia another time, but Fazia is out of Newfoundland, Canada right now. Fazia.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. Yeah, it's about 20 after 11.
Highly trained and she has a lot of knowledge and information. And she spent a year in TNT dealing with our corrupted system there. So she got a refresher of how corrupted and bad the system was. We have Dr. Parum Raj. He's a Trinidadian grown up in Venezuela, so he has a little bit of Spanish way of speaking, and sometimes his accent is very strong there. But he's highly skilled, highly qualified doctor in a lot of fields. He does a lot of surgery, a lot of different things. Dr. Parum, you want to just give a quick rundown so Mr. Jairaj Singh can understand your background a little bit?
Well, I'm a military doctor, military scientist as well. Scientists formed by Venezuela and other countries is not to be mentioned here, right? And I love medicine. I do stem cells. I specialize in chiropractics, general medicine, internal medicine, traumatology, and also traditional, excuse me, my English, medicina tradicional, traditional
Traditional medicine.
Traditional
medicine.
medicine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Medicine, yeah, right? So, and also terapia de rehabilitación, physiotherapy, right?
Okay.
Specialize in those fields.
Trauma response and all those different
Oh
things.
yes, very good in trauma. Very, very good in that.
Very nice meeting.
So we are trying to organize to help Jairaj. I had Stephen Rambo here last night, but we're trying to organize emergency medical training for Trinidad.
Oh,
We're
great,
trying to
great, yeah.
promote a brand ambassadorship program here where Denise Belfon, our cultural artist here, will spearhead that from New York.
Okay, great.
And I think Denise just dropped out by mistake there. But so we have Mr. Suman Singh. I don't know. You might know Mr. Suman Singh, but he is was part of the laptop program in 2010 with Dr. Gopi Singh with the school system.
Okay.
Right. So let
Well,
me add back Denise.
yeah. Let me just say that my son, who is he's a doctor, a medical doctor. In 2011, he was one of the very first recipients of the laptop that was distributed by the Kamla Prasad Bisesa People's Partnership in 2011.
And that's the year I did it. I did that laptop project in that year, 2011.
My
Well,
kids
let
were
thank you.
children, yes.
Let me thank you very much. Let me thank you personally, because my son was one of the beneficiaries, like many others, many thousands of students who benefited from the laptop. Unfortunately, sir, the PNM, the previous government that has been around since 1962, in this country, has really broken this country in every sphere of governance, every single area of governance. They have run to the ground. In the field of medicine, the hospitals here in Trinidad and Tobago, the public service health institutions are deplorable. For those of you who follow us on social media and on the international media, every single aspect. Education is in shambles, and I will tell you, this new dispensation, this Kamla Prasad Bisesa-led dispensation, has the foresight. She has instituted a brilliant team of people. Dr. Bodo, who is now Minister of Health,
Yes.
he is a brilliant doctor with a lot of ideas, great ideas. We here in Trinidad, I will tell you, we don't lack the resources. We are a blessed country with a lot of resources. We have had in Trinidad and Tobago as a energy-based economy. Trinidad and Tobago have had several downfalls, several oil booms that passed through this country like whirlwinds with absolutely nothing to show, and on all occasions under the People's National Movement. Infrastructure in Trinidad and Tobago is terrible. The highways and byways, roads, rural Trinidad has always been grappling after spending close to $600 billion in 10 years.
Yep.
Gary told you, somebody mentioned, I was listening, somebody mentioned, yes, this last administration, Mr. Stuart Young, he just spent a couple of days in the office of the Prime Minister, and Kenali, a senior journalist, uncovered the fact that he in just about 15 days led the then government, and borrowed $1.5 billion. this new Kamla Prasad Bisesa government hit the
US
ground
dollars, no?
running only today, and we will be hearing much more about this previous administration.
I would
US
look out
dollars,
that
no?
they're trying to put us in a very difficult position, and they will try to derail this government whichever way. But we have to catch up with them, and we have to show no mercy in arresting them and prosecuting them and recovering of that money. There's lots to be recovered, and bring it back to the citizenry.
Well, I have been following you today, Gary. I think on one of the pages you made a similar comment. Somebody said, let it lie and let it just go. Don't bother with these people. We are in
No,
office.
no, 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 no. We can't do that. We can't do
We
that.
can't do that. I don't.
No,
I don't
we
support
better
that.
not do that.
And I don't think I will tell you something. I do not think Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa will allow these things to slide. Thus, she appointed John Jeremy with the expertise and the experience as our Attorney General. I believe, I believe she will be
There's a method to her
relentless.
strategy. There's a method to her strategy.
Yes, yes. I thought that was a brilliant strategy. Um, and it is now early days, only the first day in office, and we look forward to there have been so many accusations and instances where we feel here in Trinidad and Tobago, the vast majority of people feel that we have not gotten value for money. $600 billion, ladies and gentlemen, is not a little bit of money.
No.
And we have not seen the kind of infrastructure in Trinidad to value that kind of money. So it may not be a witch hunt, but we need to, as best as possible, recoup what was squandered, perhaps what was pilfered, and fix this broken country. Fix this broken country.
Chirazi, the way I see it, right, is the same way they force when they changed the currency note and they started to force people to declare their wealth and their source of income. We have to do the same thing to them.
Yes, yes,
Okay?
yes, yes.
They have to show how they accumulated that amount of money in their accounts, right? And they have to declare all their accounts. So there has to
Yes,
be
yes,
a
yes.
total investigation. If we have to bring in Interpol and the FBI,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying to you? We must do so. Okay? And this cannot happen. PNM went out the last time with Cold the Heart and we didn't do anything to them.
That's
Right?
it. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And then back in Eric William days was a whole around run away with money and build empire in Canada.
That's it. Yes,
But they
yes,
want
yes,
to
yes.
prosecute Basti Pandey for some faults that some people won. I mean, we had police gone with machine gun and arrest the prime minister, the former prime minister, for things that
Yes,
he had
yes.
no idea, and he did so much good to the country. They try
That's it.
everything to
Yes.
humiliate him, right? And they try to pin certain things on the PPG government, and nothing could have stand up. Nothing had credibility. They couldn't make a case in the court. They're so bright, right? And none of them. Email Gate turned out to be nothing, right? All the accusation that they brought forward turned out to be nothing, right? And up to this day, they can't make a case in the court. So only the fools on the ground will believe their propaganda and drink their wine, right? Or they balance their juice, like we like to say,
Yeah, well,
right?
I will tell you, Gary, that has since 1962, that has been the strategy. That has been the strategy for the PNM. That that kind of propaganda. They accuse everybody of theft while they empty the treasury. They accuse everybody. They label everybody as thieves and as vagabonds while they empty the treasury. I will continue. I have been saying it. I will continue to say it. They have spent so much money on the roads, Gary. The roads here, the roads are terrible. Every single year for the past 10 years, you would have seen, as soon as we get a little drizzle, Port of Spain floods out. floods out. The hospitals here in Trinidad do not have the luxury of basic medicine, for diabetes and hypertension and those very common diseases are not
Yeah, we were
available.
discussing some of that earlier. And the quality of drugs is a low grade of drugs,
It
Yep.
is.
and
It's
they try to sell it as is the best. So there's always a black market kind of corrupted way of dealing with things, and people
yes,
try
yes, yes,
and get as much money as they can, exploiting our
yes.
citizens. So these are the things we have to focus on. I mean, there's so much to focus on. We have to see where the money is, and then we will know how we paying for the things that we plan for, right?
That's
Because
it. That's it.
Right.
as you see recently, there they try to take more money to put us in a more difficult situation. So all the funds from the HSF funds, that money there has to be accounted for, and everybody have to declare their wealth. Everybody who give their relatives contract and put money in their direction, you
That's
know,
it. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the thing about those Coast Guard vessels that they recently bought, there was so much uh, misleading information of and answers of how it was purchased, how it was acquired, how much was spent, how much was it a loan, what's the real cost of it? Is it $300,000 or is it how much it really is? In the meantime, they had about what 9 vessels parked up there that
That were
they
not being
refused
used. Were not
not to
being
use at
used.
all, and open borders, right? Anybody could walk in and out. Dr. Raleigh blame the United States for making the guns, but right? But you have all the vessels parked up there, blaming the United States for the drugs. You're blaming Venezuelans for the drugs coming in and out and coming outside your border. You failed to secure your border, right? It's your responsibility to secure. I don't care what you're making outside. It was my responsibility as Prime Minister, if I am Prime Minister, to secure my country. You could make what you want outside there. You are bringing it into mine. So the failure to do that, we fail to manage our Coast Guard and police force. I mean, it is so rotten that 2 days ago I had a friend call me. I didn't speak to him in a year. He said, "Boy, I outside, because I had to run away. They tried to kidnap my child. They
Oh
extorted
my.
me for money in the business. They caused my son business to shut down. And the police involved with the criminals in it. It was discovered the police involved.
Mm.
Okay, so
That's here
this
in
is where we
Trinidad.
at in Trinidad. This is where we at. He had to run from Trinidad. You know, this is that person that I went to school with. When the first day of school we start, both of us was in ABC together, right? And I
Wow.
happened to catch
Yeah,
up with him
yeah.
some years after. So I mean, I have a friend up in Sandy Grande. Forget about Sandy Grande. I'm so happy that Wayne Sturgis is over there now. I mean, the amount of
Well,
corruption I hear out of that area there. I had a friend with a little shop there,
Winstead,
and they
I think,
bullying
I
cheap for the
think,
money. Police involved.
yes, yeah, yeah. I think the Prime Minister has appointed not one but two persons.
Yeah.
Two persons to look after the situation of crime. Two persons who have a good track record and comes from good backgrounds. Wayne Sturge is a brilliant lawyer, and Roger Alexander has demonstrated over the years as a senior police officer his ability and having the will. But the system here in Trinidad was broken.
Was working
The
against
very
him. They
minister,
were working against him.
yes, they were working against him. The former minister
Yes,
Fitzgerald
spot on.
Hines, Fitzgerald Hines was always found sleeping in the parliament. He lacked the will,
Listen, this whole thing was maintained by design how it is there. This was no mistake. This is not that they that incompetence. I think they did this deliberately so that certain people can benefit financially. How it was
Yes.
working,
Goes
right?
You,
back.
you see,
Yes.
you
Goes
see the
back to that
benefit
They refuse
financially.
to take any advice, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, no? Some minister in the PNM government spent $24 million to wash or to sand, how you say, spray dry the roof of the Brian Lara Stadium.
Yes, 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 yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, yes,
what
yes,
happened? $24 million, man.
yes, yes.
You have to look and see who's the contractor because I
Well,
know some people.
I read
Some people.
stupid, you know. Oh
But that
man.
is the kind of madness. And I will tell you something. I will tell you something, Doctor. Here in Trinidad, whenever you raised these insane issues, the kind of arrogance that you were met with by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister and his arrogance, the people of this country has gotten rid of that bundle of arrogance. Keith Rowley, you could not have raised these issues at his press conferences. He would blow you up and treat you,
Shut you down.
in
Shut
the
you down.
most disrespectful manner.
Mm-hmm.
And he will shut you down.
The entire system supported that. The entire
Yes.
system, the justice system, the
He
police supported
intimidated
that.
everybody.
They had
The
Everybody
to.
former
supported
Prime
that.
Minister
A-
intimidated everybody.
And
Nothing.
the so-called new opposition leader, right? When they're trying to boast they have a woman now, and they're trying to show that they have some kid. She,
Was also part
right?
of it.
She stood there and allowed all of that to happen. She
Yep.
She
left
was
New
a
York
part of the
here.
problem. She was
Yep.
She
a
left
part
New
of the
York here.
problem.
She left New York here and left all our stranded citizens stranded, not doing lifting one finger, going home
Yes,
there and don't say nothing. We was hoping we'd get she to say something when she went home. She went down there, put she tail between she leg and allowed them to do all
yes.
everything that they
She
do.
said nothing.
So she has no credibility with me. The likeness I had
Absolutely
for her in the
none.
beginning, she lost all of that.
Wow.
And likened to Stuart Young. Stuart Young came out and he had this entire campaign singing this new chapter, new chapter, new chapter, and not denying that he was there also for the last 10 years. He
But
was a part of this
he was the
cancerous.
mastermind. That man was the mastermind in locking our people outside the country. Dr. Rowley gave him full reign. Not even when Amy Brown came
That's
in to
right.
try to assist me. They shut down Amy Brown. Everything had to go through Stuart Young.
That's right.
Ministry of
Yes, yes,
Foreign
yes,
Affairs
yes,
tried,
yes,
Ministry of Foreign
yes.
Affairs tried. They are trying to assist me when they realize that I'm right what's going on out here and trying to assist people and they realize the difficulty. They try to assist me, for what was going on, and they try to put restraint on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I looped everybody in because what happened is Cho Chung had people write an email for exemption and they're not replying for 6 months. Six
Yes.
months or more. We had people who came out of the country for 2 years, for 2 weeks vacation, and not spending a year and a half outside here.
Yeah.
Okay, and they and some of our women had to do some unholy things to survive.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
There were people who became street dwellers, yeah? Street
okay,
dwellers in other
okay.
countries, foreign
So
countries.
you
I
think
am
I have
one.
this guy?
I am one.
Yes, a lot of people, there were
I am
countless
one.
stories, ma'am. Countless stories of people who couldn't fend for themselves. And this wicked, wicked administration, every
Welcome
day.
Russell Ramkisoon.
Well, as
Welcome
they say,
Ralph, Dave
nobody
Lorraine,
then stand.
Daya
Then
Singh,
nobody then stand with
Riaz,
it.
Cinderella. Okay, Sally Ram Logan. Welcome everybody.
You see,
Listen, we
you see
want you guys to know.
The COVID situation, no? And a small country, as a very small country like Trinidad and Tobago. If you look at the Trinidad is a little dot, no, on the map. That is a
Yes,
country that is so small and so many deaths, more deaths than Venezuela in
yes.
COVID time. That is incredible. That is
It
very
appears to
incredible.
me that they
That is
probably was getting some international help to build up the COVID numbers. So if you box it too, it was COVID. If you fall off
Yes.
a ladder, I remember one guy fall off a ladder and they say it's COVID too. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So there were so many things that we caught them burying bodies. I have some pictures somebody sent to me. I have to find it where they were burying bodies without notifying. They undisclosed. You
What?
know, and somebody they sent it to me. I'll have to go through more pictures and find it. They sent me pictures of during the COVID time. They were burying bodies, just throwing it in a grave. Um, you know, and I don't know. I'll have to find it, but I saw those pictures. But this man had our people locked out of the country. We had people coming across the border as they wish from Venezuela or whoever country on the surroundings, in and out, in and out. While our citizens were begging to come home, right? Suffering outside the country here, waiting for an exemption. And I cannot forgive this because I personally dealt with it. I have all their letters and emails and WhatsApp messages of the amount of time they apply for an exemption. I had to apply for exemption to come to my own country. Who the hell is
It's
Cho Young?
crazy.
Who the hell is Cho Young? We had to deal with him.
Let me
Who the
tell
hell
you,
is Rowley?
one of the other major travesties also that was leveled against the Hindu community. Hindu members of the Hindu community were not
Cremation.
allowed
How does a
to.
cremation jeopardize? You're cremating a COVID body. Says COVID. You cremate anybody. How does that jeopardize anybody?
Well, that's the point. That's the point. And after all of the investigations and the court rulings and everything, it was confirmed that it to have disposed of bodies via burning was the best available method.
But the CMO, I forget the CMO name. Is it Roshan? I forget the boy name.
Roshan Parashram.
Yeah. Everybody was dumbfounded because the Chinese dictator from China, who they put in charge, right? He was ruling with a heavy hand. So how do they want the fat boy in North Korea? So nobody, not a damn dog back, and
Yes, yes,
everybody
yes,
look
yes,
to
yes.
him, and he was calling his shots. And I tried to tell them, I said, listen, we have to create emergency how to say quarantine center, utilize the school. Let's move. We have Caribbean airliners belong to we. Let's move our people quickly out of harm's way, and you could speed up the repatriation. If you had bring some Cuban nurse in the country, if you say you need some much medical staff temporarily to help with the quarantine process, they were acting like every citizen that they bring home had COVID.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Did every citizen then require the longer I told them, I said the longer you're leaving our people here is the more danger you put them in. Right? And when I make the noise about how the people have nowhere to finance themselves in the last, they give an okay for a grant, and then you have to find a computer, and you can't even get internet. You can't buy food. So we're getting
Yes,
Wi-Fi and
yes.
they're trying to fill out this application on your phone, right? And we people trying to buy food here, we're facing a situation where your US visa was in jeopardy. So now you had to come up with $450 to pay for your extension, and they asked me,
Mhm.
Gary, what should I do? And I tried to talk to the State Department here. I say you need to tell Trinidad what they're causing on our people. But the State Department refused to get involved
Get
because
involved.
Yes, yes, yes.
they didn't want to spoil the relationship with Trinidad. I was told because they already
Yes,
went
yes.
because of the situation there with Venezuela, and they didn't want to
Hmm.
cause tension, right? That's what they didn't want to do. So that's what I was told. But I was trying every which way to relate to them. Well, listen, this is the situation happened. Our citizens are not deliberately overstaying their stay here. They're locked out from their country. I mean, they're forced for the visa extension thing. They're most of them trying to survive by buying food. So there was so
Correct.
much
Where they getting 450 from?
connection I had to do. Found myself in a situation, lobbying here, lobbying there, trying to reason here with this one and that one. And we also found ourselves where our foreign missions shut the door, not answering the phone, providing no
Wow.
help or support. Jamaica, what they call the High Commission, right? The UK, the High Commission, I had one girl, they locked the door and she over there. All right. They had to route people. One person went to St. Lucia and I had to come up with the money up front because I thought I could help pay. I had time to raise the money and I could pay the hotel when she ready to leave. The hotel want the money up front. They want $1,600 up front. I
Mhm.
mean, and all this difficulty these people put me in, and our citizens suffering because went into financial debt because of what they did. We had people had to pay. I talked to a guy recently. He found my number. He wanted to know how he knew me. He said, then you remember who I was. He had to spend $6,000 for his wife in quarantine. They shut down a man business in Tobago where he had to finance, where his wife had to remain because she couldn't come in, and he had to pay. He had to get US dollars.
Or shrooms.
Yeah, understand me? You had to buy US now to finance your wife in Barbados if she's staying in a hotel there, right?
Wow.
So you understand the kind of difficulty. I want Trinidad and Tobago to understand the kind of difficulty. They created the
Yeah.
situation. They mismanaged the situation. They put you in the difficulty. They cripple your business and want to put you in more expense too, right?
But
Right,
that's why now,
right.
Gary, the people of this country feel as though they can now breathe.
I happy the lash out, so boy. I happy
Throughout
the
this
lash out,
country, you're
so.
seeing people today saying that they feel like the place is lighter. The
I tried to
place is
get this done in
lighter.
2020, but Rory and them cheated the election.
Yes,
But this
yes,
time we
yes,
came on.
yes. There is a
That's
notion that they stole that election, and I will tell you something. I
Even the
was on the
2015
ground.
too. Even the
But
2015, because how?
perhaps, because I will tell you, the Elections and Boundaries Commission here in Trinidad, and I say this without any apologies, has always been,
But we see what
has
happened this recent
always
election. It
been.
takes so many days to prove the
Yes, look,
result.
there was a recount. There was a recount from last week, Monday. Today is Monday. That took 8 days. 8 days, a recount. The San Fernando East seat
Yes.
was declared only
Between,
today.
yes.
Aruka Lopino, Dr. Chaitan's seat, right? There was some other seat too. I think it was point 14. Point 14 came in last. I think Labrie came in first, or point one of them there came in. I don't know if it was Labrie or point 14. I had to check back, but one of them was held back because they had to recount there. They tried to steal Labrie and point 14. They tried,
Yes, 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 yes,
you know.
yes.
And we saw evidence. We had the police obstructing the traffic, creating traffic jams so people wouldn't make it to vote. We had police. I had
Yes.
one situation with this guy in Rio Claro. His handicapped daughter was not allowed to vote, even though they were there. They had them going back and forth.
What?
Reach out for help. Right? I have the video here. One of my buddies in Rio Claro, there, a well-known guy, and I was seeing as what I see the end of the day in Port of Spain side, a handicapped child, special needs child could vote, and then they both in. I say, but how come they didn't allow this guy child to do it? And she first time voting, so she was feelings was hurt. You understand that she didn't get a chance to vote. And he said, Gary are standing right here and blind people voting and people and people who can't walk and all kind of thing and everybody in all kind of disability voting and my child can't vote. He was so mad, you know.
But Gary, I
So
think, let me tell you something. I think, in spite of the fact, I will not put it past the EBC, the Elections and Boundaries Commission. I think they tried to thief. I
they
think
did.
that they had some very spurious activities.
Yes.
In spite of that, the support for the United National Congress and Kamala was so phenomenal.
Overwhelmingly.
that's
Yeah,
Was
because
correct.
so
I saw
Yep.
a big military jet come there a few days before the election. So I don't know if that had something to shake up something too. But
perhaps, yeah, perhaps,
yeah,
perhaps.
that some people got warning not to play
You
the
know,
fool.
there was a voice note and also a video circulating. I think it was the day before the
26, I think.
elections,
26 it came in a
26th to the
25.
27th, with a senior government official. It was alleged that former um, Trade Minister Paula Gopi Schoon
Yeah, I got that. I
was
had that.
involved in some nefarious activities, alleged,
And
was
former mayor of San
allegedly.
Fernando was going around sharing money.
Yes,
And
yes, yes. Paula Gopi
and
School, there was her voice being circulated where she was having this conversation, and she said it was artificial intelligence.
oh, the UNC blamed him for that too.
Well, she said yes, yes, but I mean, you heard her voice. You heard her voice
Yeah,
on the conversation between someone who was asked to gather a few 100+ people
yeah.
in the Moruga Tablan
Mhm.
constituency, which was one of the crucial seats, crucial marginal seats,
But
the
I think
Moruga Tablan seat.
Putting votes in the ballot box. They were
Yes,
putting
all
votes
of
in
that,
the
all of that.
yeah. So
In,
we have
in
a lot of revamping to do. You know,
I think in 2015, in 2015 or 2020, you remember we found those ballot boxes dumped in the rivers.
yeah. I saw that in 2022. But what concerned me about the 2015 general election, right, is that Kamala was the sitting prime minister. And yet Dr. Rowley was able to influence the EBC to make decision without
Yes,
notifying the sitting prime
yes,
minister,
yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And then they did some nonsense with the prime minister car at the time. It was not able, and she had to leave in another vehicle or something like that.
Yes, yes, yes,
She
yes,
lost the security immediately there. There was a
yes,
lot of things
yes,
wrong done to her. And then you see this guy who was making mockery of her with the oil drilling business and calling her all
yes,
kind of names. Well,
yes, yes, yes.
I want to know where he hiding now, right, Mr. Big Shot, right? Where he hiding now? All who
Well, it
knows,
is alleged, it is
yeah,
alleged that he was financing the Michaela Pandey, the
yeah, they
The
Patriotic
what?
Fund.
try to create the division. She play this father thing because she's the father daughter and play on we
Yes,
emotions
yes,
because
yes,
they know
yes,
we love the father and all this kind of
yes,
thing.
yes.
Yeah, but yeah, boy. So we have a lot of work to do, and from time to time, if you could join us and give us an update what's happening on the
Yeah,
ground,
absolutely, man. Absolutely. It was really
I
a pleasure
appreciate you coming
chatting with
in.
these wonderful people here this evening.
Well,
Trinidad and Tobago, those of
Mr.
you who have
over here.
interest, Gary, for the people who are on as a part of the panel, and maybe those who are looking on, let me just tell you that Trinidad and Tobago, we have absolute confidence in the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Gary, you will know, those of you who have been following us will know there was a tremendous amount of work that was done between 2010 and 2015. 2010 and 2015 saw a tremendous amount of development, infrastructural development here in Trinidad and Tobago. We had a lot of resources that was used to improve the condition of the lives of people. Gary, we had some major infrastructural works. The
Just
south,
imagine these people had the audacity to come and say where the schools you built, 106 schools. And I recently saw people on the internet trying to ask where the schools there. Dr. Gopi Singh came with a full list in this
yes,
Thank
parliament.
yes, yes,
you.
yes,
All right. We've
yes.
seen pictures of the
The
schools. This young man Stark used to go around taking videos of the
Yes,
abandonment and the
I will
schools.
tell you, Gary, right in Debe. In Debe, there is a massive, massive um, building, the South Campus of the University of the West Indies.
They
Massive,
only use it.
massive
They only use it
structure.
for COVID.
Yes, and it was 90% completed. 90% completed. And that entire structure, it was really shameful. The entire structure was left abandoned to languish. If you drove into central Trinidad on the middle of the highway, um, at the middle of the country, there is one of the state of the art health institutions, the Children's
Hospital.
Hospital, that was
Yep.
totally completed.
Yep.
Totally completed
On the
and was
left
just
hand side
abandoned.
going down.
Yes, yes, yes. Was abandoned under the PNM only because it was built by the former UNC administration. So there was a lot of spite, from Dr. Rowley. Dr. Rowley has done some untold damages. Dr. Rowley and his PNM
Yeah,
to
he made
this
a good
He's not
name
country.
a
for
doctor.
himself.
He's not a doctor. Don't say doctor. He's not a doctor.
Well, he claims to be a geologist, and his head was really hard. His
Right.
head was really, really, really hard.
His heart was also had rocks in it.
You saw the vindictiveness, and when he came into the office in 2010, he came in as the opposition leader in 2010. When he came into office, he came not with the full support of the PNM. If you remember, Mr. Manning had just lost the elections, and the PNM was very disenchanted with Mr. Manning,
Yep.
and Mr. Dr. Rowley just fell through the cracks and assumed leadership. He was never a favorite of the PNM, never a favorite.
But I mean,
Very true.
comparing the citizen, this is a refresher now. They have to see the vast difference between Mrs. Visesa's performance and the UNC,
Yes,
and
yes,
compared to PNM and the kind of things we put in place to help them better their lives and to make country a safer place for all our people. All our citizens must be treated equally, and the
Yes.
Yes,
level
yes.
of service delivery must be of a higher level. Citizens must be treated like citizens and not like indentured slaves.
Correct.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
have to realize our citizenship, and act like we are citizens of the country and stand up when you disagree with something that's going wrong. Don't let it go for 10 years. I mean, in some country, that capsize the whole place. But,
Yes,
you
yeah,
must
yeah.
understand your citizenship and and take a course of action. You don't just, your citizenship does not only exist for you to vote. There must be
Exactly.
rights and you must remain fully engaged after the voting process. And
That's
I
correct.
want to encourage people, whether it's in their community, like Falan was here, restructuring the community for the community center, the cultural things. You see, our children went astray when they broke up all these best village and cultural programs.
Yes,
Thank
We
yes,
have
you.
more
yes.
criminals
Thank
there.
you.
And when where we used to have children engage, in cultural thing, the back in the day when I was growing up, the crusades, the preachers building up tent, and
Yes.
you have
Yes,
you,
yes,
The
yes.
you have
Milo
you,
games,
yeah,
Carista games,
you're
everything.
bringing things to your
Yes, yes,
community.
yes.
They mash up everything, put your children in a very difficult situation. So this is why we end up with what we have because the PNM nurtured, they constructed and created this thing and nurtured it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
when people,
I think,
but
Gary, even in the public schools, the government schools, um, a couple of decades ago, we had the religious instructions in government schools. All
well,
Correct.
of that has been removed from the
yeah.
curriculum.
Right. I mean, regardless of your religion, you had a representative of each of the
That's
other
it. Yes, that's
classes.
it.
Yes.
And
That's
so
it.
the children mind, I went back to my secondary school and my teacher, she said, these people are not like you when you was here, not you guys, I passed by the secondary school there and I met one of my teachers,
Yes.
I think, about like 2010 or somewhere there. And she said, this is a different breed of people. And
Yeah.
the need for the police to be in the school, the need for the social worker to be in the school, the need for
It's
the nurses to be
important.
in the school. There has to be the the
Medical
trained
people.
police force to handle the student. There has to be a certain amount of training. You don't go in there
Yes,
like a
yes, yes.
bulldog. You have to know how to handle
Correct.
children. The
The
social
guidance
worker,
counselor.
yeah, the
When
social
when
worker,
uh,
the
when there's
guidance
a
counselor,
family crisis, you can
yeah.
speak. That is where the mental health situation
Yeah, well, the
can
mental
be
health was created by things that deliberately by the government. I mean,
Mhm.
right.
a lot of it was caused by the stress that the government caused. You don't know the children's situation, so make sure
Correct.
they eat when they come to school. Make
Yes.
sure that they're getting the help with the homework that they. You don't have a teacher that's come and write on the board and erase the board and send them home. You know what I mean? You create the sports so the children can blow out some steam and do something constructive too. You know
Yes.
what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
I mean, you seen all these fights after school because no police patrol. There is insufficient resources. The teachers are scared to come to school. They have to be very careful how they speak because they can beat the teacher, shoot the teacher. They are heavily armed, right? Some of these students they're in gangs. So we have major work to do. So let's keep the discussion going. Let's raise the consciousness. Let them know we're paying attention. Let them know
Yes, yes,
that we
yes.
intend to assist. We're not just talking about the problem. We intend to lend a hand and how we can contribute
Uh,
to improving the system. Sumant, you want to jump in and
yeah,
say anything?
I want to chime in a little bit, Gary. We should not get complacent about things as far as the voting this time around is. We won 2-1. Really, it's a 2-1, 26-13, right? The
Yes.
UNC when, but I think we should get cracking right away on the team EBC. Team EBC has to. I'm sure they could be prosecuted if it takes them, you know, a week to check 6 or 8 constituency ballots. It tells you the kind of people who was working there.
It was
That
just three. It was just
is
three
that
constituency recounts.
is that they cannot count, or they deliberately try to foul up the system. But more importantly, what I have to say, and I said it before in this forum, Gary, is that the UNC total votes was around 335,000 voters who supported the leadership. The PNM was 110,000 less, 225,000. They they identified that 110,000 to the dissatisfaction of the PNM voters that they did not go out and vote. Right? Just imagine now with the change of leadership in the PNM, right? It's very, very easy and can be very likely that these 110 people, 1,000 people can go back and vote the next time around. And if they go back and vote the next time around, it means that the UNC will very well lose the next election. This is the reality.
Yes.
And so we need to act on this EBC and prosecute these people right away. Prosecute these people right away and get
Totally
rid
agree.
of them. Get rid of them now. And
Yeah,
start
we definitely have.
redraw all the boundaries and everything as back to what it was and cement your position so you will know in the 4 or 5 marginal constituencies you have to win those seats. You know,
Yes. I totally agree with you.
if UNC do not and they allow things to go along, it will happen like the last time where you had 10, you lost 10 seats. You lost 10 seats in the last election in 2015. And this time around can be the same thing because the UNC did not, the only thing they gained was about 25,000 votes more.
Right. So our performance has to be one of the factor. And I guess, I mean, our last performance didn't make a difference to some people, but I guess they realize the separation, and we hope that those people remain engaged, and not only remain engaged, that it builds. We need to build that support.
Correct. So
From day one, we have to keep that
from
support
day
going.
one, correct.
We have to
From day
engage
one.
the support. I think it's essential to engage that support. And this is what I'm trying to do outside, not only in the support on the ground in TNT. I'm trying to engage our population outside the country. Or those who are international, because to bring them on board, because the PNM does not want. When they have an event at the consulate in New York, they only engage a certain amount of people.
Yep.
When Kamala was prime minister between 2010 and 2015, it was a bigger an international audience. I mean, national audience there.
Yes.
We even had other Caribbean island people coming on board to support me. In New York, there wasn't just Trinidadians; they came on board. So when we had an event there, it was a big one, a big hectic one. In fact, when Kamala made her visit to the last time she came before, I think it was about her fourth year in office. There was so much people there. I mean, it was really hectic to get him to say one word to she. I mean, I said like, I got to speak to her for 5 seconds. So all that has died down, and the level of service, everything went to hell. So we're going to try to revamp that kind of thing over here, where that the service, the performance, the communication, everything that's built up back, and the people must see a difference. They must see that difference in comparison to the UNC government under Mrs. Lisa. I mean, they will be reminded. Some might remember, but memory is short, so we got to refresh it what we are about, the level of service delivery that we intend to put in place. I mean, it
Yeah.
was
Selective.
very high level.
I
But
And
call it selective amnesia. Selective
right,
amnesia.
Amnesia.
right.
Yeah.
And so we have Denise in New York, and Mr. Suman Singh is in Miami, Florida. There, so he will work with the Florida team down there. And I don't know how much Trinidad. Then we have in Venezuela, Dr. Perum.
A lot.
Oh, a lot of Trinidadians.
A
There's a place
lot.
they call Portal Das. No, they have a lot of Trinidadians living there. A
Yes.
lot of Trinidadians.
But I
Caracas
think
as well.
I think Gary, for every single member of the Trinidad and Tobago diaspora living outside of Trinidad, would have some interest,
And we
in,
must engage that.
and we must engage that, we must
Yes.
keep that connection alive, right? While many are now living abroad, domiciled abroad, have settled abroad. Um, Remember, these people have eaten the cascadura, and and Trinidad will always be their home. They will always have the the umbilical cord attached to Trinidad and Tobago,
Yes.
right? So
This side of the room, he comes back and forth all the time.
yes. So it is important to have that live, that connection, and I want to commend you, Gary, you and your people for this. You have been functioning under some very adverse conditions. Let us hope. Your efforts will continue, and you may get some resources to assist you. I am very optimistic. I am very optimistic, at least for the next 5 years. And you have been saying some things. We cannot just hope that we will remain for 5 years. It will take 20 years to bring back this country.
Of
Absolutely.
course.
What are we talking?
20 solid years of good work.
Plus.
Yes.
You see,
Yeah.
when we working hard, the people will say, continue, because we seen your work. But when the people don't see the work, they will just simply say, get out, right?
Yeah,
But we have
yeah,
to
yeah,
work
yeah,
constantly, and
yeah.
don't make joke with people who want to sabotage. The
Correct.
people who want to sabotage, we have to put them in jail.
You are
Plain,
correct.
put them.
I agree with you.
Don't take away the salary. Don't take away the pension. No, put them in
Jail,
jail.
yeah.
That's the
I
only
agree with
way.
you.
Look at Shanghai. Shanghai has improved because the man say, work with me, because you have to work with this iron fist. And if you
Yes, yes,
don't agree, you go to jail or you get out of the country. That's the
yeah.
only way. It sound harsh. It sound like I'm a dictator or something like that. But this is the only way we have to take out our
Of
people
course.
from suffering. You
Of
Well,
understand?
course.
Doc,
Yes.
on the day of the Prime Minister's inauguration, she said it. She sent some signals to her ministers, incoming ministers, that they have to work. They have to work. They cannot become aloof. They cannot become arrogant. She she
Mm-hmm.
she 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 warned them against that. She warned them, like she did in her first dispensation in 2010, Gary. If you remember her saying, Kamla Prasad Bisasa saying, so serve the people, serve the
Serve the
people,
people. Serve the
serve the
people.
people.
Yes.
Well,
You see,
some serve
what happened
themselves.
is, go ahead, Gary.
No, let's say some serve themselves and try to undermine her, and then try to come and criticize her and want to give,
Yes.
directive. No, but listen, I'll let I'll talk to you private, Jairaj.
Yeah, well, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see now, they asked for a chance to let me put an example like me. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a medical scientist. Well, why is the color white is for? It means purity, right? Nobody is to serve me because I'm a doctor. No, I am a servant.
Of
Yes,
the
I
people.
study a lot. You know, and I work real hard to be where I am. But that
Correct.
does not say that the patient have to serve me and up at me. No, I have to look up at the patient, thank the patient, be with the patient, help the
Correct.
patient. This is what the medical field is all about. But when you see a doctor has arrogance and do not want to speak with the patient or want to speak with somebody,
Yes.
or that is not a doctor. Now this is the
Mhm.
same of a minister. You, when you was asking for a vote, you come to my door and knocking my door and asking me to vote for you, begging me to vote for you.
You
And
came like
now
a beggar.
I
You
want
came like a
help.
beggar.
Yes. When I want help now, I have to be behind you, hunting to
Running
see
you
you
down. Yes.
where I have to be, and then you tell me no, you cannot speak to me because your bodyguards would not let me speak to you. Huh? No. That has to cut off. And our
Yep.
Prime Minister Kamla knows that, and she will do it as it is. You are a minister, you are not higher than the people. You have to, when we put that mentality that the people is higher than the minister, and the minister is there because of our nation or of our people, they will understand better.
Correct.
Yes.
That's
Totally agree
correct.
So,
with you.
so we like, I just want to rehash it so that we are working towards implementing emergency medical training program in TNT, and we want to bring everybody on board because I find that to be very essential. We want to see the health sector. Well, I know Dr. Budu is spearheading this, but we want to provide the support because Dr. Budu can do everything. But
That's
we
it,
want
yeah.
to come under his wing, lend the support. We want to try to get this medical training program going. It will be both for paid and unpaid because you want to create that community response volunteers. So this is
Yes, yes,
something which will
yes,
be a
yes.
good experience. And Jai, I want you to spread that word in because I want you back here on this. When I bring back,
Absolutely.
And,
so
and that,
that we created. You see what Jai? What if you see a lot of accidents taking place, people getting shot, the citizenry
Yes,
is
yes.
not trained to assist, and the person end up
Yes, yes,
dying.
yes,
You've seen
yes.
the police shooting some suspects, throw them in the back of the van, and they bleed out on the way to the
Yes,
health
yes,
center.
yes.
That is not supposed to happen. That is legally not supposed to happen. The medical response, number one, we don't have a proper response. But if the citizenry is trained to assist until professional help come, this is what we're looking to get at. This is the
Okay, I
objective
can
Yes.
guide
here.
you there a little bit, Gary.
Go ahead.
Okay, when a police officer have, let's not say shot, let's say neutralize, right?
Mhm.
A suspect or a criminal, no civilians has to be interfering with it. No
No, no,
civilians,
no, no matter interfere. I'm
right?
just saying, I'm just looking that the ambulance supposed to help with that. But what I'm
Okay,
saying to
okay,
you,
okay.
I'm just saying
Because
people get shot. It could be anybody gets shot by each other, whatever it is.
okay,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But we don't have the ambulance service. In fact, when the police is going on a raid that they expect some kind of hostility, there should be an ambulance standby somewhere when they
Okay,
because this
right,
is for their
right.
for that system. They need to have an ambulance not too far distance, not in the vicinity, but a little bit away so that they can respond whether an officer gets shot or a suspect gets shot. That is something that we need to have implemented also. But I'm talking about accidents or someone gets shot in a community. There is nobody skilled to assist. You're driving by, no one is skilled to assist until the ambulance reach. We know the difficulty with the ambulance. We have ambulance there, which is a donkey gate with lights in it because they have no real facilities, no equipment in it to assist
Mhm.
anybody. The people are not trained to really assist anybody. They're not. They might have a very basic. Some might have very basic CPR training, but they don't really and real EMT. So, so all of this, the volunteer part, we're looking at getting the training process with the hospitals and the health also health sector involved with the professionals trained, but also the volunteer training. So there's two angles to this thing that we are looking at here. So this is something I'm very serious about, and I want to see that get off the ground within our first year in government.
Yes, yes,
And I'm
yes.
depending on persons like yourself to offer because you go to Trinidad quite often. So we want to create that platform where you can, where you can physically introduce what we're trying to do within the local community there. I
Right.
am, as soon as I get the okay, I have some people from the US willing to come
Okay.
and
One
align
question,
themselves.
guys.
Uh-huh.
One question. Does Trinidad has a military hospital?
I don't
no,
think so.
no.
No,
Uh-uh.
no, no,
No,
no.
No, no.
no.
This,
We not that kind of. We don't have that kind of structure.
Okay, okay. And
And then the police themselves. I know Mrs. Mrs. had done something for their healthcare, but I don't think I think PNM revoke it or something like that. Because when an officer gets shot, she had put some things in place.
Uh, when
But
when an officer died in
was
active
$1 million.
duty,
Yeah.
yeah, $1 million, yeah, $1 million.
Yeah, but not only that, the police does not have good health care because I am in touch with some of the officers there, and when they put themselves at risk, they're getting a hard time to get proper health care. When they get
Mm.
injured, in the line of duty. So that has to change. The overall emergency response structure has to change to the drastic upgrading. And I intend to push that because for me, this mission was a life and death mission. The reason we went into election, this was a rescue mission, right? And I
Yeah.
see it as a rescue mission, and we must fulfill that how to say that agenda, that the fact that it was a rescue mission. We intend to provide us an upgrade. We want to be able to be in a position where we upgrade the resources of the country to save lives. That has to be high priority in saving lives. The response to save life must be swift, effective, and well-trained people. We are too much of a highly educated people, far as I am concerned. Degrees galore, A levels and this and that, and we can't do nothing with it. Totally unacceptable. We have a lot of young people there, but we have to engage them in a lot of them are graduated and they're doing nothing. Why can't we incorporate them in doing something? Why can't we
Because
encourage them?
for the PNM government, they are too qualified. That is the
Yeah.
word.
No,
Everything.
they need to have experience.
Yeah. How do you get the experience?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you don't
Yeah.
give them a chance.
No, but
So I was told
everyone
I'm
and
too
friends and
qualified.
family can do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Huh?
can, I
I
can
was
tell you.
told I'm too qualified.
Well,
That too, yeah.
the same thing with me. Anytime I go for a job, I'm too qualified because
I don't understand.
they see you have 3 masters, you're triple masters graduate. You are
What do you mean?
and on top of that, I'm a data analyst. I'm a digital marketing strategist, and then I am an AI practitioner, artificial intelligence practitioner. So you have six degrees. You don't know what you want to be in life. This is what
Leave out four, leave out four, leave out four.
they tell. And I am an
Welcome,
economist
Candice.
I am an economist by background. This is the guy 7. So they
Wow.
tell you, you know what, Mr. Cindy, you don't know what you want to be in life. How stupid. I have married all of these things to make me so potent in whatever field I'm doing.
Yes.
In whatever field, from medicine, education,
Multifaceted.
and
Yes.
at a high level, at a massive
Level.
Yeah.
level and above. That when Dr. Gopi Singh, when he got a lot of pressure in the ministry, nobody can handle that project. He called me in personally, and I had to work with 23 so-called people against you, PNM people, that is, in the team to deliver those laptops. And I did it single-handedly in 3 months' time. And I saved them $30 million in the project. $30 million.
Wow.
Mr. Singh, my son was one of the first beneficiaries. One
Yeah.
of the first laptops he
My
received.
children also.
On
Yes, yes,
2011, we had the flag over it. That was the additional.
yes. Well, my son had one of those with the national flag
Yes, that was my project. Yeah.
Yes.
in 2011.
I was director of tourism in Tobago. The best years they always called me. These were the best years, the so-called glory days in Tobago that
Yes.
they ever enjoyed when I was director of tourism there.
Well, the tourism thing, we're going to take it on another night, but definitely it has some serious upgrading to do. And again, the um, the brand ambassadorship thing I'm talking about is supposed to function to promote tourism in Trinidad also, because we
Yeah,
promote in TNT,
Ga-
and
yeah, Gary.
we have our
Um,
official. Yeah.
from 2011, I also sat. I also sat as the chairman of the interferry service between Trinidad and Tobago, and I will tell you that there was absolute in all. Well, it was 4 years. All 4 years, not one single hiccup between the service, the ferry service between Trinidad and Tobago.
And I can vouch for that.
Wow.
I can tell you that for a fact because I was on the panel that selected the passport, the buy the passport. Because when I went to Tobago, there was 23,000 tourists in the island for the year. I took it up to 85,000 to 85,000 to international tourists.
The
There's
ferry
something else
service
I
was
want to
brilliant,
add to
Mr.
this
Singh.
this
And
theory,
that
guys.
ferry service was a lifesaver
It was
because
brilliant. The vessels were brilliant,
yes, it
brilliantly
was
selected.
the yeah, the two of them were hostile from Australia. I was
That's correct. Yes.
I was the economist on that team that did the analysis. My friend Trevor Ramrup, he was one of the captains in the ferry. He's from down Hyderabad as well.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and we got along good and so on. And he said, well, boy, whoever did that analysis, but then again, I'm a data analyst, so
The vessels were brilliantly
and they worked.
suited.
They worked. They really worked. Both the
They
express
did.
and yeah, they worked. So
If
that
you
One of the things
remember,
I want to see done.
if you remember, sir, in 2015 when Dr. Rowley won the election, or
yeah,
It's not
perhaps
about
stole the
that.
election, they scrapped the vessels and they brought in their own thing.
but they scrapped the Ministry of Tobacco Development too as well. That entire ministry was scrapped. I don't know how a person can scrap a complete ministry.
Yes.
You see,
You know?
these are businessmen, as I always say. These are businessmen. What is, you see, good people or people who really love their country. If I'm opposition and you, Mr. Singh, you had a project, and the project, by time it is not finished yet, I, as a good citizen, I have to continue with that project because it is 100% benefit for the people, not scrap it
Correct.
down, not destroy it. Right?
Not too
This is
proudly.
this is what they did with the PNM government did with that with the hospital there. Right?
Yeah.
They, instead of they would have win a lot of votes, but you could see the bad intention they had was to continue with the hospital. Kamala, our Prime Minister Kamala, is not going to benefit from that. Who is going to benefit from that? The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yep.
Because she's not going to benefit from it. It's the people who are going to benefit, but you decide to jeopardize the people because of your ego, because of your selfishness. That is
Very
what
correct. Very correct.
is what's going on. Selfish people. Now I'm sure if the PNM had, I don't know, I never see any good project, our Prime Minister Kamala will continue with the project as well because she's open-minded person. You understand?
Yes.
No,
Right?
the only country in the world that has that is Singapore. Singapore has that enshrined in their constitution that whoever takes over, the running of the country has to continue with these plans that has already been established. So what happens is that the government and the opposition sits down and draft out the development plan for the island or for the country. So
The
that if I
agenda.
lose the next time around, you better not shut down that project. You have to continue on. That's how the people judge you at the end. So,
But Mr. Singh, I assure you, let's make a big project as well to make very good jail. Telling all you
Yes.
that go work. That go
Yes.
work is work here in Venezuela.
So one of the things I want to add to this is I see no point in having to make the complete wrongs to going into Port of Spain from
Aha.
Tobago. Right? The Toco port must be built, and and that's where we could help drive the economy of the Toco Sandy Grande area with hotels and that port area and tourism.
yeah,
So because I mean you're wasting time and creating more congestion. We need to decentralize things, right?
but Gary
So
could also do something because, I don't know if you look at the plan we had for San Fernando to make San Fernando port just like in Port of Spain, like a nice waterfront park.
Uh-huh.
yeah, but all of
Yeah.
that. What I'm saying,
So
far
you
as the
see,
Toco connection,
with that now, we could
Toco
also
connection
have
with Tobago.
a service out of San Fernando because I can tell you, having worked as director in Tobago for number years, I can tell you a lot of people from South also goes to Tobago for their vacation. And
Yes.
why can't we have, like, let's say on Wednesday and Saturday, sailing out of San Fernando? So that only people from Point Fortin, Cedras, Siparia, Pinal, Davie, and so on, instead of making that trip and having to wait 3 hours when you reach Port of Spain, in addition to boarding, check what goes on.
So what I want to do is I'm suggesting is that we eliminate some of that traffic, and also we are creating revenue stream for the
I,
Toko Sangre Grande area, because we have the turtles and the different attraction there,
Hello.
right? And so
Martha.
the connection from Toko
Okay, la,
to
Amjela.
Tobago should be built out. That structure has to be developed, and we could work around creating the hotels and driving the economy there also. In that part, San Fernando, yes, differently, and even having an airstrip built in the Carcass area because you have the land space there where there's no obstruction for aircraft to come in. So
so you
maybe
want access of easy ingress and egress
yeah,
out of these
you're
things.
creating that unnecessary traffic
Unnecessary,
into the
correct.
north.
So
Yeah,
Cuba and so on, you could have an alternative airstrip in Cuba, which they were planning in the last time around, where they were the aviation school, which is set up.
yeah, the train is cool. But what I'm saying to you, the Carcass area is way out of range
Yeah, it's we have the
from
range.
Piaco.
Yeah.
So it could pick up, for service that area, and the people from Mayaro, the people from from the southern part of the country, and it would not create a problem for the air traffic because it is such a vast difference in the location. So I'm looking at eventually getting an airstrip and airport in that area um, built if we can do that. As soon as we are able to recover some of these stolen money that was taken from us, we can do some of that. Service the people, provide the education, provide the resources, improve the police service. The medical service definitely needs drastic
Yeah.
improvement. I mean,
There's such a number of things we can do because as
right.
I wrote Kamala directly and told her that why we don't make smart cities in St. Augustine, San Fernando West, and the Debe campus, which we're planning to open. Why these three roads? There's a rationale why you're putting it in these three areas.
Well, I
St.
can I can
Augustine,
hardly wait to see her enter that Cuba hospital and deal with it. So, gentlemen and lady, I know I kept you long enough, so we're gonna continue tomorrow night. Any topics you guys want to raise, let me know. Just come prepared. So we on tomorrow night starting 8 o'clock. All right. So Denise, if you have some time, you could join for a few minutes. Or listen on there's anybody who wants to join us. Candice, if you have time and you want to jump in tomorrow night, let me know. I'll send you the link anyway.
Well,
And love to have.
my situation is when I get a break on the radio or when I'm done at
Yeah.
9
Like I
p.m.,
say, it open
I'll
discussion. You
join.
jump for 5 minutes, you go back.
Yes,
You could
yes,
come in and out. I would always send you the link. You go, and if I forget to send it to you, just remind me.
I
You know.
will.
All right. So like I say,
Yes,
well, I definitely you are UNC USA brand ambassador,
thank you.
promoting TNT culture, working on behalf of UNC USA. And we want to bring some more people. We want to expand this information, and we want to build up that panel of people out in New York and the area here,
Okay.
promoting the culture of TNT. Talk to the people doing the steel pan. We could put them live. Maybe one day you go to the steel pan, like you happen to be
The
passing by
Panyard, yes,
Spaniard, and let's promote and show them up and show up their talent. Talk
yes,
about what they're doing over there because they have some real talented young people. They have a very organized structure there up in Brooklyn, and
they do.
see what's going on there. And then eventually the the the, the Labor Day thing does come around. So we want to be organized, promoting our people.
Yes,
Get some young people to volunteer as reporters for me out there. Good, is
yes.
a good chance to promote themselves. Some of the high schools.
I will make sure. I will make sure that I let everyone know of the initiatives that we plan to bring forth and make our country a better country
Right.
as a team and as a government and as a family. That's
Right.
what I am all about.
I
Family,
want to
team,
rebuild
love.
that structure in New York so that everyone is connected and we in touch with each other, and we can take it from there. All right. So
Yes,
with that, I want to thank everyone for joining us.
yes.
Good
To
night,
all the
everybody.
gentlemen, have a
Good
blessed
night.
night.
Good night,
Good
Have a
night, my
everyone.
dear.
restful sleep. The
All best
discussions
wishes to
was
you.
really good. Thank you. Huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Parom, you need some rest. You have surgery to do.
Tomorrow. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
8
can
o'clock.
wait. I accustomed 24 hours surgery and things like that. We accustomed with that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
rest is all right. Tomorrow night, good night, everybody.
Nice
All
Good
right.
chatting
Good
with you.
night.
night.
All the best.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock if you have time.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
Riley.
Absolutely.
All
Okay.
right, thanks. Jai, listen, anything you see happening and you want to do a spur of the
I'll,
moment,
yeah, sure,
let
sure.
me
I'll
know, all
touch
right?
base with you. I'll
All
hook
right
up
then.
with you.
All right
Yeah,
then.
all the best.
All right then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Right.